Hello, and welcome to episode 45 of
the Eldritch Podblast.
I hope you can hear this through our mic gating.
I think you probably can.
I'd like to think so.
Yeah, otherwise this was a disaster.
Yeah, it's just going to be 15 seconds of silence.
How is everyone?
Oh, no, you've killed him.
Yeah, dead and gone.
They've just recovered from their infection, and you've just killed
Now
them.
you're out.
No.
Now you're out for the week.
Is that it for the week?
That's it for the week.
I was going to say for the long term,
For the
honestly.
long term?
Yeah, subbed out for the long
I guess
term.
a week is a long term.
Yeah, who would you sub in for yourself? Huh? If you were subbed out.
Me.
Yeah, okay, yeah. I'd choose the dog.
Yeah?
Yeah, I'd choose the dog.
You choose the dog.
I'd choose the dog.
The dog would eat everything.
Die instantly.
Yeah. Sleep all the
survival
time and do,
instincts.
yeah.
Yeah.
I love my dog.
Yeah, no.
He's licking his foot.
He's last time he had whole foot in mouth. Now, not the disease, obviously.
No,
Obviously, but yeah, he's taken to like chewing his feet really badly.
And
Like
he's not even chewing, he puts it in his mouth and just sort of like goes,
when we last went to the vet, because he has all sorts of ailments. He's basically allergic to himself and life. So when we last went to the vet, she was like, "Oh, well, I've seen dogs chew off their own toes before," and we were like, "Don't say that.
that's my dog.
Don't jinx that.
He's the dog that does that.
Because next time you see him,
He's that silly. He's going to have one less toe.
then you've set it in stone now." So,
So if Bully does that, it's her fault.
yeah, I don't know how we got here. Once again, hello.
Hello.
How is everyone?
That's good. Nice
Well,
to hear.
I know you just recovered from your infection and he just sent you back to the grave, but you know, we're here.
We're here.
We're here. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I am good, thank you.
Yeah?
It is very warm
It is
in Britain
so
right
hot.
now, and I don't want to hear it. I know everyone else in the world is like,
Yeah, but your houses aren't meant to keep in the heat.
yeah, your houses have AC.
Yeah, ours is meant to keep in the heat and has no AC. So as soon as
Think
it gets hot,
about
it's
us.
just like a little microwave.
It is. It's absolutely boiling.
A
I think
house-sized
it's-
microwave.
Yeah, I think it's okay. Right, don't laugh. It's like 25 degrees at the minute, which for Britain is
Don't
quite.
Don't even think of that.
It's 25 degrees is like the peak. So if you can see our curtains moving behind us, it's because
The wind's blowing.
every single door and every single window in this house is open.
So hot.
Because it gets so warm underneath these studio lights, and you know when you're talking and you're getting jaunty,
Yeah,
you know,
you're getting,
it gets a bit warm.
you get a bit
anyway.
riled up.
Yeah,
Getting riled up about a bunch of crazy people on the internet.
yeah. You tell him us.
Us.
We're
People getting riled
we're
up
the
about
crazy
us.
people on the internet.
I'll move my chair. You ready?
Go on. Oh, I didn't start the time. So I don't know
Shame.
how. No.
Shame. This is supposed to be a professional production.
It is. No, it is a professional production. Apart
This is
from the
supposed
fact
to be a
that
professional production.
you know the lighting's all over the place because the window's open and you know
And,
the
you know,
dog's
it's
chewing his
just
foot off.
Two
and
people in their living
in our
their
dining
room.
hoping for the best.
Hoping for the best.
So yes, hello, episode 45.
45.
trying to
Somebody
think-
commented on one of the videos last week and said it was on episode 43.
It was on 43.
He said, episode 43? I remember watching episode 13 and I was like...
That's very sweet. So thank you. That's so sweet. And you know what? So quite a lot of people recently have been like, "Oh, I remember when a lot of you came from TikTok, which is wild to us."
Yeah.
So
Nearly 25,000 on
no,
TikTok.
25K on TikTok.
Let's go, baby.
It's a scary, scary number, I have to be honest.
There's a lot of people.
But a lot of you
It's a
came from
lot of
TikTok.
people.
And you know what? I know it takes a lot. I say it all the time. It takes a lot to come from TikTok. To
Yeah.
see a clip and then to go out of your way to find our YouTube channel
And
or our
subscribe.
Spotify.
Yeah.
So thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you for being here.
Thank
I'm
you.
sorry I'm sorry he killed you again. But you know, like
I didn't do anything.
No.
Plausible deniability.
No. What's, a little bit of death between friends, am I right?
Yeah.
So thank you. I'm trying to think if we have anything to update you on.
I mean, there's God knows how much we need to update
There
you
is
on.
there is
There's
a
a lot
lot.
of updates.
So there is a lot to update you on. Mainly our huge campaign update. I'm going to cry so much. So I'm warning you
Prepare
now.
yourselves.
I
Prepare yourselves.
do like to give. Well, I don't like to give people a warning to when I cry. I like to give people in the watch party a warning to when I cry. So there's going to be a lot of tears. I know it. You know it. He knows it. Dog knows it. We all know it.
Dog always knows it.
Dog always knows
Dog
it.
knows it every time this happens.
Yeah, every time.
He has
He's-
like a cry alert.
Yeah, he cry. He's a crier too.
Yeah,
like
he understands.
like
see.
mother like son. You know.
Margaret and Bully are very much on the same page.
Oh, very much so. Cry at everything all the time, always. What's not to cry about, you know? That made me cry. That really did make me cry. So then, and there's the other one. Made me cry. That really did make me cry. I hope we don't get copy struck from that. I really, really hope not, because that came from the heart, you know?
Yeah, deep down in my soul.
That came from. There's the other one. Do you remember that TikTok sound?
I'm just trying to get my dog to stop licking his foot. My goodness gracious me.
Should we stop and put cream on his feet? Do you think he needs that?
Absolutely
No?
not.
All right. Okay,
Nothing stops the podcast.
No. That's absolutely. We've stopped the podcast for absolutely so much less. Do you remember that TikTok sound? And it was when there was that trend going around of people around Halloween dressing their dogs up in sheets and pretending to be ghosts. And
what was it? What was the sound?
Tears falling down at the party. Saddest little baby in the room.
That's a throwback.
I really, really hope that doesn't get copyright struck, because once again, that's from the soul.
It's from the heart.
I feel those songs deep in my waters. You know?
Yeah, deep in the waters.
Deep in my waters.
Deep in my waters.
Deep in me waters.
In me waters.
Me waters.
Yeah.
Anyway, we've just booked a getaway.
Oh my god, yeah,
We're going away this Sunday, technically last Sunday for you by the time you've watched this.
You're in the past, baby.
You're in the past.
Start living in the future.
Get a grip. Catch up. Huh? Don't live on the wrong side of history. Am I right?
Yeah, wrong side of Sunday.
wrong side of our getaway. We had some Tesco Club Card points.
Yeah, we did.
We had loads of Tesco Club Card points.
We stack them up, really.
We stack them up.
We like to stack them up.
Yeah,
we don't really
do.
spend them. Like my dad's always like, don't spend them on a holiday because they just inflate the price. I'm like, yeah, I know, Dad, but I don't want to buy anything else. I don't want a barbecue. I don't want a deck chair. I don't want any of the stuff that they've got so I can buy it. Yeah. So I just spend it, you know, like, yeah, it might be a waste, but I wouldn't be doing anything with it.
It's still a free holiday, basically.
Still a free getaway with a hot tub.
Granted, it's one night. We're going to a lodge nearby.
Yeah.
And there's a hot tub. There's Netflix. There's everything you can want. And
literally the only thing we wanted was a hot tub.
Yeah. Oh, literally the only thing we
Me and Margaret
was
like
a hot
hot
tub.
tubs.
Yeah.
We
do love a hot tub.
Soak.
Yeah. Yeah. To get all pruny and weird.
Pruny and nasty.
Yeah. And the best thing about it is there's a McDonald's. I'm not kidding you, like across the field.
I mean, there's a McDonald's around the corner there's literally a McDonald's 10 minutes away from me.
Yeah, I know, but this McDonald's, we could walk to that McDonald's. I'm not going to, but we could if we wanted to.
But how can that be the best thing when there's one about as close as there is to our house?
Could we walk to that McDonald's? No.
Yeah.
Wrong.
No, you definitely could.
No, you couldn't.
You could.
Take hours.
It wouldn't take
hours. There's a McDonald's, and that's the highlight.
The highlight is the hot tub.
And shout out to Matthew for always having this demon of a dog.
Demon dog.
This demon of a dog.
Our hellhound.
Our hellhound. Matthew, you're so patient with this dog.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Hellhound.
Thank you so much for always having him. I sent him a message saying, you have no idea how much these rickety, exhausted old bodies appreciate it.
Yeah.
Because we need a break.
We haven't had a break in a long time.
We haven't had a break in a long time.
Long time.
I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, so am I.
Really looking forward to it. I think that's kind of the life update, right? Yeah. We haven't really been doing much. Had a barbecue at your parents' house.
Yeah, that was good.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Sat in the sun. I don't know if
I played with my nephew.
You did? We both played with your nephew, to be fair. He's like a proper child now.
Yeah, he's like 4 years old or something.
Yeah, he's like actually like cohesive child.
I played football with him.
Yep.
I used to actually be very good at football when I was young.
Mm-hmm. You want to tell him?
What?
About your accolades.
Oh, I used to play I got scouted for Leeds United. That probably means nothing to any of the Americans or the Australians out there. Leeds United are actually quite a good football club.
Yeah.
And I got scouted for them.
Well
and
done.
then I got dropped.
Yeah, but you got scouted. That's the point. Sorry. There was a noise in the garden.
Oh, yeah, it's the door
swinging. It was the door
windy.
swinging. Oh, my goodness. Sorry.
I can't wait for how many times it's going to happen.
Oh, it's going to happen so many times. It's already happened a couple of times, but I've held my
nerve.
Held my nerve. All that one. Yeah, so we had a lovely weekend. We had a barbecue. We sat outside. I'm a little bit tanned.
Yeah, well, we only had Factor 50 face cream and we had nothing else, so we had to put Factor 50. So I'm surprised that anyone got tan because it was like wearing cement on your skin.
Yeah, well, such is life.
Sun cement,
exactly. So
but
yeah,
we're okay. We're nice. We were protected.
Yeah. How is everyone else in UK doing? Because I know that this heat is horrible for everyone.
It's fine. Yeah,
everyone struggles real
nice.
bad in this heat.
It's nice. I enjoy it.
I enjoy sitting out in it for like an hour. And
yeah,
then...
but that's at least you can do that. At least you can go and sit outside for an hour.
True, you're right.
You could not.
You're right. You know what? You're very, very right.
I like the sun.
Yeah. So
the sun makes me happy.
Yeah, same. I'm definitely.
Look at me. I'm so happy right now.
Go on, show him. Smile. Perfect.
Happiness.
That was a nice smile. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. Anything else? I don't
really
think so. I guess we'll just get into today's topics then.
Today's topic?
Well, there's a couple of things. There's
so
to go
many
through.
things to go through.
Yeah.
What are we going for first?
So the very first thing we would like to say is, once again, thank you so much to everyone who has bought a t-shirt from us.
Thank you so much.
We really, really, really appreciate it.
Yeah.
And we actually have, I should, at the time of speaking, be showing just a little a slideshow of some of the Squad Blasters in the merch.
A little slideshow.
I hope I'll remember this. I'll tell myself to remember this.
I'll put it down.
We've started getting photos.
Not that ever matters.
Not that I ever read the notes. But we started getting pictures in from Squad Blasters and their t-shirts.
Squaddy bees.
You all look
gorgeous. Beautiful.
Mwah.
You look gorgeous.
Affection aside.
You look amazing.
Mwah,
oh,
mwah,
God.
mwah, mwah.
What a great fit that t-shirt is for you.
Oh my God, it brings out your eyes.
The Eldritch Podblast really brings out your eyes.
Oh, it really does.
And your personality.
And your... Yeah, anything else?
All
and the
of
infection.
It. And the infection.
and the boiling of the blood. But thank you so much.
Yes.
We of course asked everyone in the Discord if they were okay with us showing their photos.
Yeah.
And everyone graciously said yes.
Yeah.
So thank you so much. You are such a good looking bunch, aren't you?
Yeah.
It's kind of sickening. It kind of hurts my feelings how good looking everyone is.
Especially in the Eldritch Podblast merchandise. If you want to pick up a t-shirt, there's a link in the description below. There are 3 styles. There is the logo with the back print, and the heavy metal. Oh, you are. You're rocking the heavy metal t-shirt. Nice. In sizes from small to 5XL.
Yep.
Shipping worldwide. Inexpensive. £1.50 for worldwide shipping. Go pick one up. It's a fantastic way to support the podcast.
It really
we love
is.
you. Every single person who's bought a t-shirt. Thank you. And everyone who hasn't bought a t-shirt. That's not the point. The point is you're here.
Exactly.
And we love you.
We do very much. You being here is enough. Please don't feel like you have to pick up a t-shirt. And they're also not limited edition.
Pick one up.
Pick one up. Anyway, thank you. Thank you so much.
Shan't be long and we'll start to have a look at some new merch.
Indeed, yes.
I really fancy doing a Rancid Vibes t-shirt.
We are absolutely going to do a Rancid Vibes t-shirt.
So it would be a rip, and I don't think we could do it.
Go on.
You know, we keep doing this Rancid Vibes.
Yeah.
You know what that is, don't you?
No.
Santa Cruz.
Oh, with the hand.
With the mouth in the hand.
Yeah.
Couldn't really
Rancid
do that,
vibes.
but that would be sick.
No,
with like a melting font.
That would be cool. That would be really cool. I think Seffi last night suggested a mug that said restful on one side and unrestful on the other side.
Very, very good.
That would be slapping, wouldn't it?
That would be very,
really cool.
Very good.
That would be really, really, really cool.
Yeah.
And I think we need to do an Attack the Unaware t-shirt,
I think
right?
at some point we need to Attack the Unaware.
Agreed.
Attack the Unaware.
Rancid vibes,
and
restful and unrestful.
Yeah, I think they're like the staples.
They're probably going to be the next things.
Yeah,
again, this is this is a while away. It takes you, God.
Yeah,
if you've produced your own merch, or even if you've just like designed products, you know how long it takes. It takes so long.
We've got a grip of like pricing and stuff now.
We do.
That was the hardest thing to figure out.
Yeah, and now everyone's t-shirts have arrived, and everyone has like attested to the quality and the fit and how comfortable they are. We feel confident next time. But you know, the designing is what takes
the longest.
Well, no, not really, but
the most work.
It takes the most work, yeah. Most brain power. And you know me, I never have the brain cell. Give it back!
You've got loads of brain power.
Give it back then!
You've got a massive brain.
Where? Here?
Yeah, there it is. I can see it.
Is it looking at you?
Yeah, it's looking at me.
Is it giving you a wing?
It's pulsating.
Very, very slowly. It's very close to death. So thank you so much. So as of today as well, the Homebrew Challenge, which was the World Primer with the theme Moon, is closed.
It's closed.
Close your eyes. Closed.
Congratulations to Dwight, who won the first challenge.
Congratulations, Dwight.
And our two runners-up, Moth and Jordan.
Moth and Jordan, thank you so much. This was for Challenge 1. This was a simple melee weapon.
So, Monday next week, you will get a new challenge, and Thursday next week, you will have the winner for the World Primer.
For the World Primer.
So,
as
we're
a
rolling
time
now, baby.
Recording, we only announced it last night, and we've already had like 6 submissions for a world
Yeah.
primer, which, you know, listen.
You're crazy.
You're crazy.
You're crazy.
You're crazy. But honestly, thank you so much.
It's so impressive. And we did put in this time, like, let us know if people can use it.
Yes.
Because so many people are like, yeah, go for it. Use
Yeah,
it. It's
yeah.
totally
But
fine.
it's important that you have the choice.
It is important that you have the choice. Because,
Yeah.
you know, like, some things are very personal to you.
Of
And you
course.
don't want to be able to... You don't want people, like, nicking your work.
Yeah.
If you don't want that.
Of course.
But, you know, a lot of people did. And, you know, don't feel pressure to or not. But it's great. So now if you want to find a world primer... or, like, get some ideas, you know,
Yeah.
that's what they're there for as well.
We were speaking to Patches in the watch party when we announced it, and she was like, this has just helped me fill in a piece of my own world primer that I didn't know I needed.
There you go.
So there you go. It's a really creative exercise. Someone also said, like, I'm so excited because a world primer for me as a creative writer is so much easier than creating an item, which, same.
I would disagree.
Yeah, and that's
But
the
this
beauty
is it,
of
isn't
it.
it? Like,
yeah, that's the beauty of it.
I love making magic items. Like, I get excited about making magic items.
Mhm.
But I only think I get excited about making magic items when I know my players.
Yeah.
So it's like, I know my players, I know what your maybe strengths and weaknesses are and
Yeah.
then I can make magic items to, like, help with those pitfalls.
Yeah. Yeah,
So
definitely.
that's why I like making magic items, because it can, like, fix small holes in characters and
Yeah.
stuff like that.
Yeah.
You know, world primers are a big thing. So I think there's a lot of very creative people, though, who just, like,
Well, yeah,
think
and-
of campaign ideas all day, every day.
yeah. Was it Jordan who was like, I have many, many, many seeds? No, it was Vince.
Yeah, I think
Vince
it
was
was
like, I have
Vince.
many seeds for new worlds. Do I use them?
Yeah, it's
No.
because we announced the World Primer
And-
challenge, and like 20 minutes later,
Vince-
while we were watching the podcast in the watch party,
And while Vince was in the watch party talking to
the
all of
first
us.
submission came in
from
from
Vince.
Vince. You're insane.
You're insane. You're crazy. You're absolutely wild.
You're crazy.
You're crazy.
So yes, you got today is the last day, so it is over now.
Yep.
And we'll be
No, I'm not
announcing
gonna.
the new challenge on Monday next week, and we'll be announcing the winner for the World Primer
Next Thursday.
challenge next Thursday.
Yeah. So thank you so much.
You're
Thank
crazy.
you, everyone. And if that sounds like something you'd be interested in, check out our Discord. We host
Yeah.
all of the challenges in our Discord. You put all your submissions in there as well.
There's loads of campaigns going on.
Oh my god! Oh my god!
There's
There was a
campaigns
point.
going on. There's one shots going on.
There was a point the other night where there was 3 campaigns running at the same time.
I know.
Granted, one of them was a session 0.
So
but-
you, I'm looking at you right now. If you want an online game with people who are very like-minded to you, get yourself in the Discord. The invite link is down below. Join in. Put your player application in. Look at the DM applications, because people just post their campaigns.
God, there is things
and
going
then
on
people
all the
just
time.
jump in and say, oh, I'd quite enjoy to do this.
Mm.
And then you have a conversation with the DM and make sure you're the right fit and stuff like that. And it doesn't matter if you're not, because there's loads of other things going on. And if you're a dungeon master, you out there,
You want
I can see
you want a
you.
new game? You want a one shot?
You're desperate to run a game, or you're desperate to run a one shot. Get yourself in the Discord. Post your world primer, or just like your idea for
You
a one
will
shot.
get your hand bitten off immediately, just to
Oh,
warn you.
46 million people will be like, I'm in.
Just to warn you, but
Yeah,
you know,
there's a
it's-
load and load and
yeah.
load of people who want to play a campaign.
and all of them have been successful so far, which has been wonderful. So we're so proud of you. We're so proud of
Yeah.
all the DMs in there who are putting themselves out there, all the players, all the friendships that are being made.
Yeah.
It's all we could have ever
awesome.
wanted. So thank
amazing.
you. I suppose really the last thing to do is talk about a campaign update. It's a biggie. It's a big one today.
Buckle up, baby.
It's a big
Fasten your
campaign update. Should we just get straight into it?
Go for it.
Okay. So, I'm going to try hold it together for as long as I can. Who knows? Maybe I'll do that thing where something upsets me so much I just show no emotion at all. Who knows? It's a mystery.
I don't think that'll
me.
happen.
No, could never be me. So,
Can you see the dog?
I can. He's asleep on the couch. He's looking very sweet right now. Shall I see if I can get a picture of him?
No.
Oh, no.
If
God,
you-
I've disturbed him.
Is he looking at you?
Oh, God.
He
Oh,
knows
God,
as soon as you.
He's gotten
as soon
up.
as you-
Oh, I've
Margaret,
ruined
what
it.
have you done?
I've ruined it.
What have you done?
Man, he was so comfortable as well.
Oh,
I did something the other night. I don't know if you do this. I'm sure some of you do, right? Are you constantly worried, especially if your pet's slightly older, that they have just succumbed in their sleep? like I do it all
our
the time.
dog is like he's 9, but he's very fit and very healthy. Like, yes, he has like skin issues and stuff like that, but you know, he's a good weight. You know, he loves to romp around and run around and go for walks and stuff like that. I can't really walk him at the minute because it's way too hard.
It's too hot. Speak of the devil.
I was like, he's a fit, healthy dog, and I was like, Wait a minute, I can hear him spinning.
Yeah, he spins a lot.
And sometimes he spins on his bum and he hurts himself. It's a silly sausage.
That's all we're going to say about that. Anyway,
Yeah.
I was doing this thing where I woke up and I just watch him. His bed's next to ours and I just watch him. And I say this dog has no survival instinct. However, I was staring at him for about 5 minutes and he obviously knew because he woke up and he looked at me like,
fast asleep and he just went.
Literally. So anyway.
And Margaret always does this thing when she wakes up and she's like, he's breathing weird, Jack. And I'm like, Margaret, this dog breathes weird.
Yeah.
24/7.
Have you seen the state
Have you
of
seen
his
the
head?
size of that head?
Yeah. Yeah.
He's got a big head.
He's got a big head.
Cute, but it's big.
Big. So anyway, we were about to get onto a campaign update and then we just went on a bit of a rant there. Once again, so campaign update. So, as you will recall from the last campaign update, we ended the session having freed Revna from Nidhogg, who was Reyla's kind of head in command, basically.
She was the leader of both watches, the day watch and the night watch. She was the one who picked the soldiers for the inner circle.
Yeah, and they had a bit of a showdown. Revna was very disappointed that she had seen Reyla as Vendari. Reyla basically told her to shut the fuck up.
Yeah,
and she did. So we set off. We started this session setting off. Also, this is basically the culmination of Reyla's backstory as well, this session. So we end up heading into Yggdrasil, and there is 2 layers to Yggdrasil. There is the Utenfall,
correct,
which is the outer ring, and then the Yitna.
The
Yitna, which is the inner circle. And Reyla's family, apart from her sister, lived on the outer circle. So they go in, they take a look around, and basically Nidhogg chews on the roots of the world tree to try and sever the realms into Helheim.
Yeah,
and
tries to sever Midgard away from Yggdrasil, so it falls into hell.
Yeah, and we basically found kind of like an entrance point for Nidhogg. All the ground was excavated around one of these giant roots. So we were like, well, that's gonna be it, right?
The root had been completely chewed through.
Yeah.
And that's where you felt a few sessions ago. You felt this massive earthquake thing and everything sort of tilted.
Yeah.
And it was in the direction, basically, he chewed through the root and the world had begun to
tilt slightly.
Tilt and sever itself from the tree.
Yeah. So we end up going down there and we're going real quiet. And then we basically come across is it what's the word I'm looking for? Like a turn? We basically...
Corner?
That's basically a corner, right? And Revna had warned us that only half the people who were supposed to ascend with their gods, the night where they asked their gods to protect them from Ragnarok, only half of them ascended because Nidhogg was able to basically get in the way and drag them down. So she had warned us that we were probably going to see more people under control, right? And we did. So we saw there was a troll around the grounds of Yggdrasil. There was common enemies like trolls and Draugr and stuff. And then we also saw some sun druids and some moon druids who were also being controlled in the same way as Revna by a root around the neck, and they were being controlled by Nidhogg. And they were basically just like minions to dig out this root, right?
There was another root in the middle of being
excavated,
so Nidhogg could come in.
Yeah.
Gnaw his way through it.
Yeah.
Nom 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 nom.
So we all come to the agreement together that we were going to try and save the druids who were under control, but Reyla ultimately said, my people would give their lives for this, and if the only alternative to stop Nidhogg is to also end them, they would prefer it like that. Thankfully, it didn't go that way. Thankfully, we managed to free the 3 druids.
Yeah.
We killed the troll.
Even if the troll had been freed, it would still have been hostile.
Yeah, we freed the druids. And Reyla recognized them, and she was in Vendari form pretty much this whole time, right? So she rallied them. She said, you need to fight for your people. You need to fight for this cause, and they agreed to come along. We also saw another moon druid, who obviously we hadn't seen any apart from Reyla at this point. And you made a point to be like, this moon druid doesn't have a moon on their forehead. And we were all like, oh, okay. When I made Reyla, I just liked the aesthetic of the moon on the forehead. It was just my character's design. I never thought about it.
Tyrande Whisperwind from World of Warcraft.
Exactly
Hers
like
is
Tyrande.
upside down, though.
Yeah, exactly like Tyrande. So, you know, we were like, okay, cool. So we were like, right, druids, you're going to follow us. If we encounter more like you, you will help us free them.
Yeah.
And then you will all go as a group together to the top because we don't want you getting involved in this Nidhogg fight.
Yeah.
We only need you to help with, like, the minions, basically.
Yeah.
So we end up going a bit further down. And Hemeta is our rogue. He scouted ahead.
Yeah.
And he scouted. He was like only like, what, like 15 feet away from us, maybe?
Yeah. He was like between 30 and 15 feet ahead of you all.
And he scouted into the room. And lo and behold, a big wall of vines came up and separated us.
Mm-hmm.
And Hemeta was by himself, and all of us were stuck behind this wall. And it was only Nidhogg.
It was only, you know, the big bad.
It was only the boss arena that he had just stumbled into.
Yeah.
And the one that we were like, we won't bring the druids into this. So we were like, could we like try and beat the wall? Could we? Because first of all, right, if Hemeta was there by himself in the boss arena with Nidhogg and whatever the fuck else was in there, that I cannot stress enough. I cannot stress how bad that would have been.
Yeah, I think you definitely all could have broken through the wall. You had enough, you know, you had you, Tiapi, and Igneous.
And Revna.
And then
the druids.
3 druids.
Yeah.
There was a lot of action economy there.
True, but still. And you very graciously.
Do you ever have that moment where you're just too nice as a dungeon master? Everyone was like, oh, is there a way that we can get in the room? Is there a way that we can get in the room? And I was like, right, there's an initiative check. Whoever gets less than the root wall is on the outside.
Yeah.
Whoever beats it, like, makes, like, the jump through. And there's a lot of times in game where I like to, like, big rolls, important rolls, I like to actually roll it in front of everyone because, you know, it's like, it just builds even more drama. And, you know, like, sometimes you do roll really high, and it's not that my players don't believe me or anything like that, but it's, like, nice to see it. So I was like, okay, everybody roll, and I'm going to roll now first, and I'm going to set the DC.
And you roll down in the open.
1. Everyone got through. It's safe to say every single person got through. Should have just kept that one behind the screen. In that moment, to be honest, he'd failed his stealth check, and Nidhogg found him. And there was a moment really where Matthew, because he didn't roll very well, and got found out, and then Nidhogg used his lair action to root the entrance. I really should have had a round of 1-on-1 with Matthew, but I didn't, and I should have just said no.
Yeah, well, hey, you live and you learn. It was such a high stress situation for everyone involved.
Yeah,
like. You know, of course, something was like that was going to happen because it was everyone was immediately so stressed from that moment.
I like to think I'm quite a nice TM, but I think
you are.
In that moment, I think I was too nice. I was too nice.
Hey, we thank you for it. Well.
So they all made it through the root wall.
We all made it through the root wall, and the combat started. I have a clip right from the very beginning of combat, and I'll put it in here.
Okay. Oh my fucking god. You suffer.
Yeah. That's probably it. That's probably the length of time, right? So we turned all the lights green. We have ambient lighting. You put on a really fucking cool soundtrack.
It was the Doom soundtrack.
And it opened up with the Doom soundtrack.
It was the Doom soundtrack.
Oh, was it all the Doom soundtrack?
Was the Doom soundtrack?
It was fucking awesome. It was really, really, really.
It was all like
cool.
The heavy Doom soundtrack.
Yeah, it was
the combat Doom soundtrack.
It was perfect. It was really good. So we got in, and once again, if you remember, in last session we had our stakes that we had.
Stakes of planar enfeeblement.
Yep, we had 3 of them.
Basically, divine tremors.
Yeah, where if we stuck them into Nidhogg, it would lower the DC for banishment.
It would up the DC.
It would up the DC for banishment.
It would up anyone who casts banishment per stake in gets a +2 to the DC.
Yeah,
only banishment.
Yeah. So our plan was, Abby had banishment. And Josh also had
2 banishments, and Josh had 1.
Yeah, so we had 3 banishments between us. So Matthew immediately goes in. He gets the stake in.
Yeah,
looking good, right?
Yeah, looking good.
First stake is in. Revna goes. You tell what
So
you tell what
basically,
happened.
Because like Nidhogg is quite good at like switching between planes. He has something called an abyssal portal, where he can open up a portal on the map and he can use his tail attack through it, so he can like flank with himself and stuff like that.
Yeah, you were like, he flanks with himself, and we were like,
and the tail does poison damage. So I attacked Revna. She got hit. She failed the DC for the poison check, so she was poisoned. So that means she rolls with disadvantage. Everybody's like, oh yeah, let's do the stakes. And I roll up and I'm like, Revna takes an attack, use disadvantage. And the only stipulation with the stakes is if you roll a natural one, it shatters. Natural one. Stake shatters. And it was me who did it.
yeah, well, it was going to be one of us, let's face it. It was going to be one of us. It was going to be one of us. So that's just the game you play with dice.
Yeah.
So Revna shatters the stake.
Yeah.
That's fine. We still have another one.
Yeah.
So I go in, I get the stake in, not a problem.
Yeah.
Immediately, we're like, okay. At this point, we hadn't interacted with anything else on the battle map. We knew that there was some minions in the background that hadn't gone yet, and we hadn't gotten to them yet. But we were like, okay, we think this is the best it's going to get, right? We have 2 of the stakes and one of them's destroyed. Let's try a banishment. Abby tries a banishment. 4th level spell slot, she only has 2 of them. And it fails because Nidhogg has, first of all, advantage because he has magical resistance. And he has obviously a huge modifier, of course, naturally.
Can you push my phone in?
Oh, yeah.
It looks like it's about to fall off. There we go.
So it failed, but we were like, that's fine. We were probably expecting that. We maybe jumped the gun a bit too early here. Let's see if there's anything else we can do. So we end up going through the rest of the battlefield. We free the druids at the back. We kind of set the druids that we already had to deal with like the minions, basically. All the other druids get freed eventually. And every time that they are freed, Nidhogg lost 1 to his modifier, basically.
To his wisdom saving throw.
So we free all...
he had a +9, and then, no, he had a +10, and it went down to a +9, +8, +7 when they took all 3 minions out.
Yeah. So we got all the minions out, and we tried again. And we failed again.
Natural 20 on the saving throw.
Natural 20 on the saving throw. So we failed again, which was fine because we had 1 more left. And the good thing about the last one we had left was Josh is a shadow sorcerer, so he has his Hound of Ill Omen, which gives disadvantage to saves when it's stood next to the thing. So we set up the battlefield. It was kind of hard to set the battlefield up because there was loads of things. And in the beginning, when Jack said he had used his layer action to bring up a wall, he was able to bring up walls on the battlefield. So he would basically wall off Josh a lot because Josh has silvery barbs.
Fucking what? I got about 4 or 5 crits, and every single time I was like, natural 20, Josh went, silvery barbs.
That silvery barbs. I'm not kidding you. That silvery barbs saved our fucking lives. It saved our lives. So
when Nidhogg like cottoned on to that happening, he just kept walling off Igneous.
Yeah. So it was difficult to get in the position to do it. Anyway, we get in the position. All the minions are down. We got the Hound of Ill Omen next to Nidhogg. Josh is like, okay,
I'm going to do it.
I'm going to do it. And it was this moment of... I also want to preface this with, before the fight, Jack was like, I want to make it clear, if you have to banish him. Like,
it's not that you have to banish him, but I've given you an ulterior motive here. I've given you a way to get rid of him, which isn't killing him, because he's a very strong thing.
Yeah.
And if it goes to blows, it's going to end up bad.
It's us or it would be us or him, basically.
Sort of thing, yeah. It's like
it was a fight to the death.
Expect a casualty.
Yeah.
If it goes to blows.
Yeah. So we're all very tense. Josh makes the you roll the save. Mm-hmm. I can't quite remember what it was. You rolled it out in the open, I think.
So basically,
I was panicking. I was crying at this
point.
Basically,
at this point, if the final stake would have been in, it would have banished him. But because the final stake wasn't in...
It was 2 off.
No, it was 1 off. It was 1 off. because the extra, because it was +2 every time.
It was one off.
So it was one off.
And Jack rolled out in the open, and it was the moment where he rolled the number, and we all thought it had succeeded.
Like,
so
enough.
me and Matthew jump up. We celebrate. We're stood. We're on our feet, and then Abby and Josh have realised, and they're like, "It's not enough."
It's because you were always calculating what the top DC was.
Yeah, we
you
were.
Like, if we can get all 3,
We were,
and then the
but
DC is going to be like 23.
We forgot.
And you forgot that you hadn't got one in,
And
so it was
then
only 21.
Me and Matthew were like, "Okay, that's fine. We have another." We didn't. It was the last one.
That was it.
We had miscalculated how many we had, and we had miscalculated the DC.
You thought
so
you had 4, but you only had 3.
it was that horrible moment where all of us were stood up, like head in hands, pacing, and you were like had to stop the music and be like, "Okay."
We did a little bit of rejigging because at that point, Matthew blew the horn of Valhalla.
Yeah, we were like, if we can't banish him, we got a magic item ages ago called the Horn of Valhalla. It basically summons a D4 amount of berserkers to fight for you. And we were like, if we can't banish him, we have to blow the horn. We had to blow the horn. It was a very sobering moment.
Yeah, it was like they were going to save that for later fights because there's probably a lot of big fights coming up.
Yeah.
And after you've used it, it's a 7-day cooldown.
7 days, and we do not have 7 days, basically, we don't think.
So you blew the horn of Valhalla.
We blew it. We took a break. We took a minute.
I divvied up a berserker to each of them because they got 4. I divvied up all of the remaining druids to each of them, so they were all like rolling for the druids.
We were kind of like.
So it was I was controlling Revner and Nidhogg.
Yeah.
And then you were all
controlling ourselves.
And I like to, if there's a lot of NPCs, instead of me rolling, because that's not fun, I just give the NPCs out.
Yeah. So
just tell them what the attacks are and stuff
we
like
basically each had ourselves a berserker and a druid, or a couple of druids maybe. We came back together, we put the music back on, and we fucking had to slog it out to the death, basically.
Fought like fuck.
I'm gonna get emotional thinking about it. So it was bad. It was bad for all of us.
Yeah, it wasn't good.
And we were all really low.
People were going down.
Reyla had been knocked out of wild shape. She had 1 wild shape left. Igneous, there was a point where sometimes we just like to check what everyone's on. I was on 16. Priestess was on 10. Josh was on 26. And Matthew was on like 12. So we were looking real bad.
You weren't looking good.
Real bad. And do you know those moments where
Nidhogg had gotten rid of a lot of the druids, and it was just the berserkers.
Sorry. And Rayla's whole thing is she's very defiant. She's very headstrong. She will not give in. And Reyla said at that point when she realized it was a fight to the death, she addressed everyone, and she was just like, it was an honor knowing all of you, and it was an honor fighting with all of you. And I hope I'll see you again when all this is done. She rallied the druids, and we just went for it. And you know those moments when the combat's so tough, each turn takes like 5 minutes because everyone's has to sit
you need
and
to
think.
really think about what you're doing.
The combat went on for about 3.5 hours.
Yeah.
I cannot stress how tough it was. It was amazing. It was the best combat we'd had so far. But there was a point where Nidhogg realized he was winning. And when he got to a certain amount of health, he phased, and he got a fucking like poison breath attack that we all failed. And he's a lad. He's a huge creature. Yeah.
So obviously there was a lot of PCs and a lot of NPCs like the druids and the berserkers. They were all like gathering around him.
Yeah.
Like swarming him, and he knew as soon as he got to half health, that's what he wanted, because then he just unleashed the breath attack and knocked loads of the druids out.
Yeah.
Got all of you really low and stuff like that.
Priestess in particular got very low, and Igneous had been. Priestess is the main person who does Revivify, right? Igneous has died twice. It was a whole thing, and I think Igneous's character feels very in debt of his life to Priestess. And what we didn't know was behind the scenes, Josh had come to you and said, would it be okay if Igneous could have life transference, but only for Priestess?
Only for Priestess and only once per long rest.
Which, what a wonderful, wonderful touch, Josh. Like, Josh is such a thoughtful, like, he really, I don't know what I'm trying to say here, but that's
it's
really thoughtful.
He's very good at like speaking with his actions.
Very much so.
Like,
very much so.
I want my character to have this because of this. I want my character to do this because of this. And it's
very
like,
much so.
It's all very like intentional.
Yes.
The things that Josh does.
So Priestess is low. I think Priestess maybe went down. I can't recall because it was all so harrowing.
Yeah, there was a moment where basically he had this like a kraken sort of attack.
Yeah.
He had like these long vines where he'd pick people up and like throw them at things, and when they collided they'd take damage, but he could throw them at each other. And Josh came out of cover to cast something and didn't walk himself back behind cover.
Yeah.
Because I'd blocked him off. So I reached out with my legendary action, grabbed him, waited, and threw him at Priestess. And when they hit each other, they fall prone. So they were both prone in front of him, and it was his turn. So he basically was like, I'm gonna roll to see who I go for. And I rolled TRP.
Yeah.
And then he just began to like lay into TRP.
Yeah. And you know, Igneous saw this, and Igneous tried life transference. He basically nuked himself. He didn't go down, but he nuked himself to try and heal Priestess, and it wasn't enough. And I think at this point, Nidhogg saw that everyone was desperately trying to keep Priestess up, right? And Nidhogg could see that Reyla had was closer to Priestess. Nidhogg knew Reyla. Nidhogg knew like the situation, and there was a moment where he turned to Reyla, and he had Priestess, and he was like, "I'm giving you one chance. You can leave now and not succeed, and I'll let your friend live. But if you stay, she's dead." And it was a very scary moment. Because Reyla, once again, Reyla's kind of getting the sense that all of this is bigger than them, you know?
It was.
The fate of Midgard and the fate of everyone else is actually kind of more important than themselves and their friendships. And Reyla said nothing, but above table, I said to Abby, I was like, that was a warning. Like, if we keep going, Priestess is probably going to die. And Abby said, what choice do we have? She was like, keep going. So we did. And on Rayla's turn, like the turn after he had said this, and Reyla was really low in initiative, obviously.
Even with advantage.
Even with advantage. There was a moment where Revna was the other side of Nidhogg, and she was like slashing through him, and he was getting weak to the point where you could kind of see through the cracks in him, because he was like basically like made out of this like out of wood, basically.
Like rotten bark.
And Reyla could see through to where Priestess was. And Reyla just said in Priestess's head, we'll meet again, basically. And Reyla just continued, and then on Nidhogg's turn, he killed Priestess. Which sucked. Abby was living for it, by the way. Abby was absolutely fine. I was just as upset as I am now.
Yeah, probably
obviously. More. Abby, I can't stress enough how fine Abby was.
Yeah, of course.
I think you were a little bit stressed out.
Of course I was. Like, I knew it wasn't going to be a TPK at that point, because you'd done loads of damage.
Yeah.
And he was like, basically at this point, he was just attempting to cause Reyla as much harm as possible and trying to make deals that he knew no one was going to take, because he knew he was going to lose. It was just how many people he could.
He just wanted to hurt Reyla at that point.
It's how many people he could kill before he was killed himself.
Yeah, yeah.
So, he killed Priestess.
He killed Priestess.
He almost killed Igneous.
Killed Igneous.
Igneous survived till his turn and polymorphed himself into a giant ape.
And God, again, you know how I said there's that moment where people take 5 minutes on a turn? The next round, when it got to Igneous, Josh was desperate to do anything to get Abby up, right? Desperate. But he just couldn't reach her. There was nothing he had in his arsenal to do it. Nothing.
Yeah.
We sat there for like 10 minutes in silence, basically. And he ended up polymorphing himself, which was, by the way, the best thing he could have done for himself. He polymorphed himself
and stood in the way between them to try and like attempt cover.
Yes.
So I gave Priestess like a little buff to her AC, but because she was prone and down and unconscious, Nidhogg had an advantage and he had a big plus hit. So it was just It was too much.
It was a feeble attempt, but an attempt nonetheless.
So
Priestess is dead. And there's the three of us, and we are all rough. I think we all were on like minus 10 hit points at this point.
Minus 10?
No. yeah, below 10. Minus 10.
You were still in wild shape, so you would have still had your health buffer.
Yes.
But that wouldn't have lasted a huge amount of time out of wild shape.
I had 2 hit points left.
Yeah, on your turn.
Yeah, I had 2 hit points left. And we basically just had to slog it out, and that last round was so brutal. And Nidhogg was going down in that round. We just didn't know who. And I was last in initiative.
Of course.
And
that was the bears after you. No, it was you. You were last.
I was last in initiative.
The druids had all died, so Margaret was last.
I rolled 2 attacks with advantage because I'm a multi-class into barbarian. Missed them both.
Here's the thing. So it comes to the bears were before you. Bears both missed. Rolled by
Berserkers,
Abby and Josh. Berserkers all missed. It was a disaster. It was looking so rough, and everyone was just missing. Then it came to Margaret with advantage, and she missed both attacks.
Yep. So then we went on to the next, and
we went to Josh.
Josh was like, "Well, I'm just going to try and hit him." And as he moved up, I looked at the map, and I was like, "Oh my god, I'm flanking. I'm flanking with things. Oh my fucking god!"
I get a +3 to hit.
I probably would have hit. And poor Josh, I was like, "Josh, I'm sorry." And Josh was like, "No." He was really good. He was like, "No, I want you to have this." And Reyla got the final blow on him.
Yeah.
Which felt really good. And then that kicked off the cinematic.
Yeah, I like to do every now and then, like there's gaps of bits of stories, there may be like the speculation about, or maybe the players haven't figured it out completely. After everything that I've given them, they're close, but maybe there's just some things that's like, but why this? But why that? And on big story beats, I like to do like cinematics, and I know Margaret's a massive fan of them, so I always do one for Margaret's backstory.
Yeah, you gave me a big cinematic.
I gave you a big cinematic. I said, as like the final blow, you said that you sort of grappled onto him.
Yeah, I climbed up him, and I got my nails in his head, and I pushed his head to the ground, and I made him look at Priestess. As I killed him.
Yeah, as you killed him. And then a portal to Helheim opened up as he began to get sucked through, as he's
he was scrabbling
to try and keep himself in Midgard. And as he did, he was trying to grab everybody around to try and pull them in, and he grabs Revna, and he begins to pull her in as she's grabbing on, nails are digging into the dirt as she's getting pulled into the portal to Helheim. And Revna and Reyla have always had this quite bad relationship, as you've heard. And even when Vendari had arrived and Revna knew who Vendari was, and she was like, "Thank God you're here," and then realized it was Reyla, she was like, "Why is it you? Of all people, we need someone to save us, and it's you." And then, do you want to go through it?
If I can.
Okay, do you want me to do it?
I will try.
Okay, yeah. Go for it.
So, as Revna's being pulled in, there's a moment where she looks at Reyla, and Reyla looks at her. She looked at me. And she just says, "Remember." And we're kind of launched into a memory sequence, basically.
Yeah, like a flashback.
And we start off, and we're in the Utenfor, where Rayla's family lived, and we could see their
the tents, and the little the sort of druidic town that they've created.
Yeah, and Rayla's house, and we saw a hooded figure go in. It was a full moon, and it was Revna. And my older sister Tova runs up, and she picks up Tova, and then she goes over to my parents, who are holding a little baby. And Revna takes the baby, moves the blanket from the face, and sees baby Reyla with a moon on her forehead. And no one else has moons on her forehead. And Revna's like, "You have beautiful girls. They will be strong warriors." Hands the kids back, and she leaves. As she walks away, from behind the house, Skoll, our god, appears. And Skoll says to Revna, "Well, she's the one, right? The child born under the full moon. She's the one." And Revna's like, yeah, don't I know it? And
Skull's like, it's going to be tough. And he says something along the lines of, the moment that she thinks she's in control, you can never let her have that.
yeah, that's the moment she loses.
She can never get ahead of herself. She
Mhm.
needs to like question herself until the day comes. Because if not, it'll consume her and it'll consume everyone around her. Basically, something along those lines.
Yeah, and obviously talking about Vendari. So we kind of go through like a montage of Rayla's life growing up, and pardon me, there's the moment where Revna's pouring loads of time and energy into Rayla's sister Tova and is giving her, tips, helping her train, whilst never really giving Rayla like a second chance. And this whole time, Rayla's watching her sister and is being proud of her sister, but is also like feeling determined, like wants to be her sister. That was Rayla's whole thing. And we fast forward to the nights of when the Night Warriors are being picked, and Yggdrasil herself picks the Night Warriors. She extends the routes out from the inner circle to the outer circle to whoever they pick. And there was like the cinematic of Revna watching, and Topher, my sister, was there. And Revna was just going, please let it be enough.
Yeah.
Please pick her.
There's like, all the families have gathered, all the people of Yggdrasil have gathered, and like there's a few people that can like wishing people luck, and there's a few like young warriors who step out. There's a number of them, and they all stand on the outer rim and like dig their hands into the earth and just like ask to be let across. And Revna's on the other side, and obviously you get the like little cinematic of getting really close to her. To everyone else, she's not doing anything, but you can see she's like, please have done enough. I need it to be picked. And then there's a lot of tension, and then the route comes out and extends across
to my sister,
and her sister gets picked.
And you described it as like the camera pans around to like a young Rayla who's watching in the crowd, and she's like really proud of her sister, and but she's determined, and she wants to have the same things that her sister has.
Yeah, it's like there was happiness there in Rayla's face because she's happy for her sister, because she's proud of her sister. But at the same time, it's like, well, that's me now. Like, I'm next. I have to be the one who's coming next.
And like a look of determination. And man, that cinematic, I don't know why that cinematic absolutely ruins me, as you can tell. So the next cut was to the midnight trial, where it was Rayla's turn to prove that she could harness like the beast inside of her and come back from it. And we'd seen this dream sequence from Rayla's point of view before.
Yeah.
However, we saw this dream sequence from Revna's point of view. And as soon as, she kind of bids farewell to all the people. And we also have a moment where Rayla's talking to her mother. And Rayla's like, her mother's like, are you sure you're ready? Because everyone doubted Reyla. That's just how it was. Her sister was such a shining example. Everyone had no faith in Reyla, including Reyla. And there was a short scene of her mother saying, like, are you sure you're ready? And you let me reply, and Reyla was like, I'm sure I'm ready. And
she was like, she just, because if they don't come back, if they go out and they turn for the first time under the full moon and they don't turn back, that's it, they're animals forever, and they won't come back. So it's a big thing, that the midnight trials.
And it was like a strange juxtaposition, because Reyla was seeing this memory in her mind's eye in the future, whereas the actual memory that had happened was in the present. And there was a moment where her mother said, like, I hope I see you again. And you let Reyla reply, and it was like, Reyla in the future was there, and she hadn't seen her family in so long, and all she wanted was to see her family again, and she was on the brink of it. She knew now she's going to see her family again. And I replied saying, I will see you again. And it was a really nice moment. Anyway, it cuts to the midnight trials, and
so you go outside, and standing at the edge of the woods is your sister, and Revna.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And Revna's like, all right, Tova, see you in a bit. Good luck. Your sister's probably not going to come back, by the way, but
she didn't say that.
Fuck you. And then it cuts to Revna running through the forest and keeping an eye on Reyla. to make sure that Reyla is safe. And Reyla turns into Vendari that first time. Reyla obviously didn't remember this, apart from when she had the dream sequence later on. And Revna watches her.
She's sat there and she runs past all the other people who've like turned but haven't turned back, or have turned and turned back, and the successful and stuff like that. And she just sees Reyla sat on a rock in an opening with a pond. And this is the moment that you remember seeing. And she sat there going, please, like, please, you can do it. I know you can. I know it's in there. Like, show me. And Reyla turns. And there's a moment you remember in the original cinematic, or the original flashback, where you look in the pond, you see yourself as Vendari for the first time, and you begin to walk off towards the village, and you hear a noise, and you can see in Revna's little cinematic, she begins to make the noise to like guide her away from
the village. So then that scene finishes, and then we kind of get to the last scene, which is the day of when everyone was supposed to be ascending. You're looking at me like that.
No.
And it was the day when all the druids had gone to Skål and Hearty respectively and said, Ragnarok's about to happen. Take us with you. We'll protect the world tree from somewhere else. And it was everyone had ascended.
Everyone had fallen asleep.
Ready to ascend.
Out from the tree came Skål and Hearty.
They come up to Reyla, and Revna's there. And they're basically like, this is going to be really hard for her. Like, she's not going to know why she wasn't picked. And no matter what, you can't let her know. She has to do this by herself. And she has to find out how to do this by herself. And they basically just apologized to me. And they were like, it will all become clear in time. And they're like, we'll stay with her. Revna's like, no, I'll stay with her. You go. And Skål and Hearty are like, well, you know what this means. If you stay, you're not going to be able to ascend. And Revna was like, yeah, I know, but I'd rather stay with her. So everyone else is gone. It's just Reyla and Revna, and Reyla's asleep, having a real bad time. And Revna, like, very gently, like, gets her comfortable and moves the hair out of her face and just talks to her. And again, you know, from my backstory, I had written Revna in as this person who hated me, who made me feel bad about myself. And from what we'd seen of Revna, that's exactly how she treated me. So it was really nice seeing the truth behind it, basically. I sound like I have auto-tune on my voice because I'm trying to talk while I'm crying. And there's the moment where Reyla wakes up. Revna hides in the bushes. Make sure that Rayla's okay when she wakes up. Reyla kind of wanders around a little bit.
Yeah, groggy and tired, having like hibernated.
Yeah. And then Reyla finally leaves.
Begins to leave,
and that's where the campaign started for Reyla.
Exactly where the campaign started.
And Revna just watched. And she said something like, you've got this, like, you can do it. And as she's watching Reyla walk away, Nidhogg's already here. And Nidhogg begins to grab Revna.
So as Rayla's walking away, Rayla's like, go on, you need to find who you are. Like, you can do it. And as she's watching her, behind Reyla, like, comes out of the ground one of Nidhogg's roots. As it, like, begins to sort of, like, search around, it sees Reyla and begins to, like, head in that direction. Revna jumps out and runs over, and she, like, slashes at some of the roots, and more roots come out, and she, like, starts to, like, defend and, like fend them away from Reyla.
She gives Reyla the time to get away, even though Reyla has no idea that this is happening.
She turns around, she sees that Reyla, like, makes it, like, quite far through, and as she does, and she, like, has a little smile on her face, as, like, her job's done, she did it, you left, you see the root, like, slide up and around Revna's neck, and begin to pull her up into the air, and Nidhogg says,
well, who's that person that you're so willing to spare your life for?
Yeah.
And Revna just says back, well, you're going to find out soon enough. And then that's when she's hung from the tree, and that's where she remains for the next year until last session when we stumble upon her again. And
and then the dream sequence fades, and it's just like Revna getting pulled into the portal to hell, like with Nidhogg like wrapped around her leg as he's pulling her in, and she looks at Reyla, and the whole time everyone's been like, you call her Vendari now, you call her Vendari now, and she's been like defiant, saying, no, Reyla this, Reyla that, Reyla this.
And the one thing that Reyla wanted from Nidhogg, Reyla was like, you're going to call me by my name. No matter, I'm going to make sure that when this is all said and done, you're going to call me by my name and who I am.
And she looks at, not Nidhogg. Nidhogg's in the...
Nidhogg's
halfway to
having a real
bad
bad time.
But Revna's holding on for dear life. And after she said remember, and she realizes that Reyla's remembered, she just looks at Reyla and she says, well done, Vendari. And then she, like, her grip lets go. And then Reyla pounces over, and there's a couple of strength checks to see if she can keep her here.
Mm-hmm. Like, it was one of those moments where it would have been a fitting end, I think, for Revna to go like that. If you hadn't, you said to me, like, is there anything you want to do?
Yeah.
If you hadn't have said it, I probably would have just let her go, right?
Yeah.
But, you know, you did ask, and
yeah.
Reyla...
I said, do you want to try anything in the moment?
Yeah, well, yeah. And Reyla basically clawed her back. And it was really emotional, as you can tell. It was just such an amazing conclusion. And
I said to my players before this, I said, I know TRP is dead.
She's dead in the ground.
I'm gonna go. You can have to give me a minute here because I got a lot to say. Just bear with me. I'm gonna give you a little cinematic thing. No time is passing for Abby because we have obviously Revivify prepared.
Yes. So yeah, it was an amazing cinematic. It was everything I could have ever wanted. It had, like, you know, a bit of a twist in it. Didn't expect Revna. I didn't expect that. And that's exactly what I wanted, and I think that's exactly what Reyla needed to know as well. And you just did it so beautifully, and the music you picked, you did it so perfectly. You did it more justice than I would have ever thought. So
good. I'm glad you enjoyed it.
So thank you.
Don't worry about it.
So let's get on to the other harrowing part of it. You know what? I was going to apologize for how long this is, but you know what? After last episode, everyone was like, God, I'm so excited to hear what happens next session. Obviously, Priestess is dead.
Yeah, Priestess is dead. The duality of the situation is Reyla's just had this massive payoff, and this like
Priestess is laying there,
and Priestess is
cold.
dead in the room.
Yeah, dead in the room. So obviously we run over. Priestess is the Revivify person.
Yes.
Priestess is the only one who has done Revivify. So Reyla runs over and she's like, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, I've never done this before. She gets Hermeta and Igneous, and she's like, I need you to help me with this. I don't know how, but I know you can. And we start to revive her, basically. And we all had checks on how to. You all let us.
Yeah, so just the alternative Revivify rules. Everyone sort of helps how they want. If they succeed, the DC gets lowered. Everyone succeeded. So
what did everyone do?
What did you do? I can't even remember.
I spoke in her mind because oh my goodness. Sorry. I spoke in her mind and said, like, this isn't your time to go. You have unfinished business here, and then when that's done you can go. But we need to kill the bastard who did this to you and your parents, so now's not your time. I don't know what the other two did because I was so upset.
Hermeta used his crackling fang to basically try and defibrillate.
Yes, he did. Yes,
TRP.
he did. Yes, he did.
And then Josh.
Did Josh life transference
Josh
again?
like tried to life transference again, but it's only a one-time use. So I was just like, roll me a charisma check to see if he could like harness that.
Yeah.
Everyone succeeded, so the DC went down to 4. And I asked it if I'm happy to roll it because I don't want anyone to be like, I fucking killed your character.
Yep, didn't want to roll it.
So I rolled it. It's a good job everyone did succeed because I only got a 6.
Yeah,
so,
she was 2 off of never coming back.
Yeah.
So, and that's where we ended the session.
That's where we ended the session.
Jesus Christ. It was such a roller coaster because it was the hardest and the best fight we'd had. Like, that was without a doubt the hardest combat we'd ever had. Ever. Hands down. That was rough.
It was one of,
minusing maybe the Caladan fight in first campaign, but that was a different situation. That was a different situation.
That was tough, yeah.
So we went from having like all the adrenaline of the fight and like the highs and lows of the fight to then, the emotional conclusion of Reyla's backstory to then having to bring back Priestess. God, it was a session.
It was a session.
It was a session.
It was truly a session.
It truly was a session.
It definitely happened.
Yeah.
It was awesome.
It was amazing. I
really enjoyed it.
It was number one for me.
Number 1.
To be honest.
Talking about number 1.
Oh, yeah, well, goodness. How is everyone after that? I'm dehydrated because I cried so much. I hope you can make sense of what I was saying.
Yeah, I think you will be able to.
Thank you. Yeah, I hope you can make sense of what I was saying. Tune in next week for another one. I'm thinking, like the last session we do, we should maybe dedicate a whole episode to it so we can talk very freely about it.
Yeah.
I think that would be something nice because we're not too far off the end now.
Yeah. We might do like
we're -10.
We might do like a couch talk or something like that. If we can get enough mics, and we'll just bring everyone in.
Yeah.
And then we'll just talk about sort of like each person's arc.
Yeah.
And the campaign overall.
Yeah.
And it'll be like a different setup because we couldn't fit everyone around here and stuff like that. So we'll just I think we might do that because we're not a million miles away from the end of the campaign.
Yeah. Let us know if you would like something like that.
Yeah.
Even if we can't get everyone in, if you would just like a whole episode, of us talking dedicated to the end of the campaign and what happened. Let us know because I think we'd like to do that without kind of worrying about taking too long.
Yeah.
Oh my God, do I look all fucked up?
No, not really.
Oh, thank you. Not really. A little bit fucked up.
Doesn't really look any different.
Naturally, a little bit fucked up. So shall we just get into it? An hour and whatever
Absolutely,
into this
let's do
episode. So, we're trying something different today. We're trying something different.
Yeah, we're going to try something a little bit different.
So,
what we're going to do first, we're going to feed the dog.
Okay, we'll be right back. We're back out from popcorn.
Woo! Dog's been fed, Margaret's been fed.
Everyone's happy, everyone's having a good time.
So after that emotional turmoil,
yes,
what we're doing for today?
So, yes, we're doing something slightly different today. So, as you can see from the title, we're doing horror stories and we're also doing some heartwarming stories. So, I'm sure you will all remember there's been a couple of times where we've been like, send us in your heartwarming stories. We'll do an episode on it. We just kind of never got round to it.
Yeah.
Like, it's one of these things where...
It's scary, isn't it, to do something new? But we thought we'd give it a go because there was some absolute corkers in there.
There was some really, really good ones.
We picked a few.
And they're going to make me cry. All of them. They're all going to... This is just an episode of me crying consistently. So, you're right, Jack.
Yeah, I'm just watching my dog.
There's so many noises going on. I'm so sorry.
It's because the chair keeps moving with the wind.
The chair keeps moving outside. So, we are interspersing. We're going to do it. So, it's one horror story, one heartwarming story, one horror, one heartwarming, etc., etc.
Yeah, absolutely.
If you like the heartwarming story... Sorry, camera might have moved. Dog got under table. Pull the lights over. Whole thing.
Pull the iPad.
Whole thing. So, if you like the heartwarming stories, please let us know and we can dedicate a whole episode to them.
You can let us know by leaving a like on the video.
You can let us know by joining our Discord, ordering a t-shirt.
Subscribing, commenting. And then, if you don't do that, I'll know that you don't like
it. No, yeah. But, if you like them, let us know. If you actually like it in this format where we're breaking up the horror stories as well, let us know.
Yeah.
This is an official plea from the Eldritch Podblast. We need your horror stories.
Yeah, we've got loads of the other stuff, but not horror stories. If you've got any horror stories, submit them.
We've gotten to the end of the horror stories that we can use on the podcast. Obviously, we can't showcase every single story for so many different reasons.
Yeah.
I would say there's been a lot of horror stories that we can't put in purely because they're so long.
Yeah.
And, you know, we're a long podcast. That's fine. But, you know, when it's getting to the point of like 2 A4 pages, we can't include that. So if you've submitted a horror story that's long and you think, okay, well, I can cut bits out, please resubmit them.
Yeah.
But just make them a bit shorter.
Yeah.
You know roughly the length of horror story we read out. So thank you. And yeah, please submit your horror stories because we need some more.
And if not, we're going to go to the Reddit.
Yeah, the Reddit.
We love the Reddit.
So, shall we just get into it?
Absolutely.
So much time into this video.
An hour and 20 minutes on my watch.
So, this is number 1, and this is horror number horror number 10.
Horror number 10.
10, exactly. And this was submitted by Anonyblaster, and she goes by she, her.
Anonyblaster, she, her. Thank you very much for your submission.
So, I was playing an Adventure League session with some strangers at a local game shop that I frequent. It was a tier 1 game where we were all level 1 to 4, and I was going to debut my new Tabaxi cleric. As games go, we were starting out having everyone introduce themselves in character, what they look like, etc.
Awesome.
When it came to my turn, I introduced my character, stating how they were a Tabaxi, how their eyes are different colours, and what armour they were wearing. I finished up my introduction, and I allowed for the next player beside me to continue. The player immediately stated that she walked up to my Tabaxi and started patting my head as the player. This made me extremely uncomfortable.
She patting the player's head?
Patting the player's head. This made me extremely uncomfortable as I did not know this player at all, and it felt like an invasion of my space. She basically treated my Tabaxi like a cat. Seeing as I didn't know this person, I merely shifted my chair a little away from her and had my character move away as well, while stating that they were not just a cat. The rest of the session went okay, though the person's character was a little murder hobo-ish, but it was fine. Unfortunately for me, this incident did sully this character for me, because I struggled to play them without being afraid that someone was going to pet them and do something else to them. I really like this character's concept, but I fear I have to retire them and never play a Tabaxi ever again. Anonyblaster, no normal person.
Pets
is going to do that. No normal person is going to do that.
Like, so many people are, like, I'm, you know, I don't mind, you know, like a hug. I don't mind physical touch.
Yeah.
Like, I'm totally fine with it. Me personally, as a person. With people I know, it's someone I don't know and they were like touching me, I'd be a bit like,
oh my god, to pat someone's head? And
like, that's me, someone who's like okay with physical touch,
same,
who doesn't mind.
Yeah, same.
And I know there's a lot of people out there who get like a really, really uncomfortable
naturally
with physical touch.
Naturally.
So to just come over and like pet someone, patronizingly pet somebody on the head.
First of all, yeah, that's very patronizing.
The first time you meet them.
To be like, oh, my pet cat. What? We live in a fantasy world where there's animal races. You know that they're not a cat.
Amorphous animal races. Lions, elephants, hippos,
turtles. You know that they're people, not cats.
Yeah. Like these are people in this world, not pets.
Like, you know what? Just the fact that they did it in real life is very
so weird.
I feel like there's something super, like, I don't know, maybe this is just me, like, intimate about patting someone's head. Like, maybe that's just because I'm short and I never get to pat people's heads.
You can pat my head.
I'll pat your head.
What, right now?
Yeah. Come on. Let me pat your head. Oh, I can't. I've got short arm span. Oh, that's really nice. Oh, that's good. That's the good stuff.
How was that?
Yeah, it was good for me.
Give me 1 out of 10.
Oh, I couldn't possibly.
You couldn't possibly?
I couldn't possibly.
Because it was just so good?
I don't pat and tell.
I don't.
Even though
you literally just shown like 1,000 people who watched this video.
So yeah, no, that's very fucking weird. Anonyblaster, please don't let this put you off playing a Tabaxi.
Margaret loves playing a Tabaxi.
I love playing a Tabaxi. Listen,
I love the
feline agility.
Feline agility. I was about to call it Running Wild, but that's World of Warcraft.
Worgens.
Yeah.
I also called it Running Wild though when I played a Tabaxi.
Yeah.
But yeah, you get the feline agility. You get to double your movement, and then you get it back if you don't move again the next turn. That's perfect.
Dex and charisma.
Wonderful charisma.
Like Dex and charisma.
Yes,
Dex charisma,
very much so.
Do you know the only problem with Tabaxis is the claws are a bit shit.
The claw attack.
If they just scaled better, that would be nice.
Yeah. See, I always flavour my Tabaxis as just being cat girls.
Yeah.
They're just normal people with cat ears. That's and a cattail.
Oh yeah, you've seen Ray, haven't you?
Yeah, you've seen Ray.
So it's like she was just like person, but just with cat ears
And a cattail.
and a cattail.
And you know we won't go into what else.
Yeah. But the lack of fur. Do you reckon that person would have petted you?
Maybe.
I don't think they would have.
Listen, if they're willing to pat a real life human being in real life, they're gonna pat a cat girl, right?
In real life, it's like you know, like it's also weird if your player went up and just began to pat the other player in game.
Yeah.
But to do it in real life, that is just so fucking patronizing.
That is the worst.
That is so creepy.
That's the worst.
Such an like respect people's bubbles. Like you know, like this is like a bubble around you.
Yeah, don't fucking touch
people. Don't just
people.
like come into their bubble.
Yeah, do not fucking touch people without their consent.
Yeah.
Period.
Like you know, if you know them really, really well and they're like friends
and
with you,
established thing.
Yeah.
An
established friendship.
Even
you know,
then,
when
any of our friends patted me on the head, I'd like it, but I'd also kind of be, you know, I guess that's a really bad example.
It's weird, isn't it? Because it's like I don't like Josh. Like I always like because Josh sits next to me when I'm DMing. Like when it's Josh's guy, I'll always like pat him on the shoulder or like smack him on the back if he's like done something fucking super awesome or something like that. You know, because I've got that like relationship with Josh.
Yeah.
And like me and Josh are totally fine like
Abby,
that.
though.
Abby fucking hates physical contact.
Uh-huh.
I sometimes air high five Abby or like respect Abby or something like that.
I always go, I'd hug you goodbye, but I know you don't want me to, so
yeah.
There you go.
Yeah. You know, Abby just hates physical touch.
Yeah.
And I know that
a lot of people do.
Just despise physical touch.
Don't fucking touch people without their consent,
You
please.
know, like you don't know that. So don't do it.
Moral of the story, that's so weird. Don't pat people on the head. Don't do that. Don't do that.
Don't do that. Especially if you don't even know them.
Don't even do that to kids. Like, it's so patronizing. The amount of people who like pet kids on the head. Don't do that. That's you. Don't do it. Anyway.
I mean, we don't have kids, so.
No, we don't.
We can't really comment on that.
No, but yeah, don't do it. Don't touch anyone without their consent. Bleh.
Blah.
Sorry, Anonyblaster. Don't let this put you off playing a Tabaxi
Play
ever
the
again.
Tabaxi Cleric.
No one. I'm telling you, no one else is going to pat your cat on the head.
Tell me what subclass you were going to be.
Yeah.
So I want to know.
No one else is going to treat you like that.
No one's going to treat you like that. Normal people won't treat you like that.
No. Okay, so this is numero 10 Glorio. Storio. This is the first glory story. Well, I've called them glory story. They're more like heartwarming stories.
Yeah.
But when I was writing the notes out, having horror and heartwarming, the H's, I was getting confused. Anyway, so
I'm just going to call it number 2.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah. So this has been sent in by Ricky, and they go by they, them.
Ricky. Cheers, Ricky.
So, hi, my name is Ricky.
Submission, mate.
Thanks, Ricky. My pronouns are they, them. I'd like to tell you the story of my first D&D character and how they taught me who I truly am. For context, I was assigned male at birth and previously identified as a gay man. I've always loved being queer, but could never quite put my finger on why I felt so uncomfortable being perceived and or treated as a male. At the beginning of 2020, my partner Craig and I started playing D&D with another couple, David and Jess, who were experienced D&D players. At the time, they were our acquaintances.
Acquaintances?
They were our acquaintances.
My acquaintance.
But now they are among our closest friends. David lent us a copy of his player's handbook so we could build our characters. I've been wanting to try D&D since I was a child, and I have a background in creative writing, so I really threw myself into character creation.
Nice.
I made a feral, chaotic wood elf moon druid, in brackets, #moondruid for life.
Sounds like our sort of character here.
I'm with you, Ricky.
I like the feral moon druids.
With a heart of gold named Feyre.
Feyre.
Craig, knowing that I would often play as female-presenting characters in video games, asked me if I was going to make Feyre a man or a woman. Shortly before this, I had read the section of the player's handbook where it says that your character need not adhere to gender norms, and I decided to play Feyre as completely non-binary. Everyone was happy to accommodate this, and as soon as we started playing, they used they/them pronouns to refer to Feyre during roleplay. I quickly realised that I had never felt more comfortable with my gender as when I was in character as Feyre.
That's so fucking awesome. That's so fucking awesome.
Like, we say it all the time. Like, D&D is so much more than just... Sorry, there's a little bit more.
Sorry, yeah, Karen.
After a couple of sessions, I told Craig that I thought I might be non-binary in real life and that I wanted to start using they/them pronouns for myself. He was, of course, completely accepting and loving. Over the next couple of months, I came out as non-binary to the rest of my friends, family, and colleagues. Fast forward to today, I've been happily living my NB life for over 3 years. I've also become completely obsessed with D&D. I run my own homebrew campaigns as a DM, and it's all thanks to my lovely, supportive inner circle and my beloved moon druid, Feyre.
Feyre.
That's lovely.
That's so good.
Oh, Ricky.
It's like, it's a fantasy game where you can be anything on, like, not on Earth, because that's the point.
Yeah,
that's the fucking point.
yeah.
Like, you can be whatever you want.
Yeah.
So yeah, like, I think a lot of people come to this conclusion where they're like, anything that they've wanted to be in real life, they can, you know, like, experiment and be these things.
There's a lot of personal exploration with your characters, I think.
I agree.
And, you know, for a lot of people, I think it is quite gender reaffirming as well, being able to present yourself fucking however you want to.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And Ricky, I'm so happy for you that you were able to find yourself in game, that all of your friends and your partner specifically were very supportive
Man, like,
of you.
I just want to fucking shout out to the absolute...
Shout out to Craig.
The absolute gigachads that you clearly surround yourself
Hell
with.
yeah.
Because, like...
Craig, David, and Jess.
Oh, man, like, to have those, that sort of, like, support circle and
100%.
friendship group of people who are just, like, so down for anything, and to be, like... And for... Who was your DM? Was it Dave?
You know what?
I don't know.
Yeah, no, David.
David was there.
Yeah.
To be like, there's no fucking gender requirements.
Do whatever you want.
Like, do whatever you want.
Yeah.
And for David to know that you normally play female presenting, to come to you and be like, are you going to play female presenting? And for you to, like, that to, like, trigger to be like, actually, I think I'm going to be non-binary.
Yeah.
Like, for that to trigger it.
Yeah.
I don't know, it's just so good.
I know. That's
and, like,
wonderful.
It's to me, it's like, this is when people are like, oh, it's just a game. It's like,
no, it's not.
It's
not
though.
Just a game.
It's just not just a game to so many people for so many reasons. Like, this person has literally had a life-changing experience.
Yeah.
An experience where they've felt uncomfortable their entire life.
Yeah.
Being referred to as, like, he, him, and like presenting as male.
Yeah.
To then just be like, I played a game.
I couldn't put their finger on it.
Couldn't put their finger on it. They played a game, and that helped them sort of figure out who they are as a person.
Yeah.
That's just wild, and that's so amazing. And for people to just be like, oh yeah, you can be whatever you want, but in my game, you know, fucking.
In my
trans
game,
people don't exist because they don't exist in real life. It's like,
shut the fuck up.
What are you like? But fucking orcs don't exist in real life. Aarakocras don't. So, but you're gonna put the fucking one requirement on gender because that's a personal thing that you're putting on the game.
Yeah.
I know how much you don't want to say that, but it's like there's something within you that's not allowing that to happen in game, and that's why you're doing it.
Yeah, because of your own personal beliefs.
Because of up here, like, you need to let that go.
Yeah.
You need to let that go.
And anyone who is going through the same thing as Ricky did, anyone who is struggling with your gender expression, who's struggling just with your own self-expression, do not settle for less than this, because you all deserve respect.
Yeah.
You deserve to be safe. You deserve respect. You deserve support in whatever decisions you make for yourself. And I know that that's not the case. I know that that is not always the situation, but it should be. And Ricky is a great example of it. Really, people really do be out there for you, you know?
Yeah, 100%.
So thank you, Ricky. That's an amazing story.
I want to, just put the spotlight on myself for a second.
Go, do it. No, please, go ahead.
Because Ricky, it's a completely different situation to Ricky's situation, and like that's just so fucking awesome, and I love that for you. Like, congratulations.
That's amazing, Ricky. That's amazing.
But I think, to me, when I play a character, it's to like work out some inner demons and inner frustrations.
Same.
And I think for me, like, my first character when I played Nephmeros, like, Nephmeros was a really nice guy. Like, really nice guy. Always tried to, like, be positive and stuff like that. Until it came to himself. And he, like, hated himself. And he was like, I'm a fucking idiot for making this deal. And, like, anyone else said those sorts of things about themselves, he would, like, be like, no. You're amazing. I can't believe fucking you would think this about yourself. You're awesome. But about himself, as soon as it, like, the fucking finger got pointed at himself, he couldn't accept that, and he couldn't do that. And that was, like, me at that time.
It was very much so.
Like, I just fucking, I just had this, like, I couldn't not look at myself as not a terrible person. And I don't know why. just in that moment in my life, I was like, I'm a fucking asshole. Like, I'm a horrible person. And I don't know what it was, but it's like that character really helped me like work my way
totally
through that like part of my life.
Yeah, and I'd like to think that the way that people treat your character as well made you feel better and more accepted too. And
yeah.
I think that's, you know what, I can't throw the blanket statement over. That's just growing up.
Yeah.
But I think when you get to a certain age, we were around what?
25, 26.
Around that time, you're kind of getting to the point where you've kind of shed all of your past lives at that point, and you can see the mistakes that you've made in your past life, and for some reason they feel really clear at that point, because I was going through the same too, and you know, in our personal lives we were going through a lot at the time.
We were going through a lot, and I think I'd maybe I don't know, I think there was a few like people in my life that maybe I wasn't happy still being around. It was, I think I was just in a really like negative headspace in my life at that point. Which is weird for me, because like I'd like to think most of the time I'm quite positive.
No, you are very much so. Yeah, you are.
Yeah, I can get bogged down with things like here and there, but like I do try and like to keep the best I can. Sometimes it gets too much, but you know, I try to try to keep it like a happy tone. I am generally quite a happy person. So yeah, like the same thing happened to me, and I worked through. It's not the same. I'm not comparing myself to Ricky's situation, because that's, you know, way, in my opinion, way better, way more important and stuff like that.
You know, there isn't. It's not a case of more important. It's what's personal to you.
Yeah, but you know, like so, like I think I do the exact same thing, but like sort of within myself.
I do as well. Very, very much so. Very much so.
And you know, there's a few others, like I think there was a couple that circulated around loss for quite a while, because you know, like things happened in my personal life, and like I worked through it like through characters and things like that.
Same.
So it's weird, isn't it?
It is weird. It's
weird.
And I've said it. I've always said it from day one when we started playing. I was like, your characters are an extension of yourself, and I think subconsciously you put things into your character that you maybe can't deal with in real life.
Yeah.
You know, for you, that situation, I didn't even realize you were going through that until genuinely we were kind of
towards the end of the campaign,
and I saw these things in your character that I recognized in you. And, you know, the fact that you can people can even recognize that in character. And I was the same with Beloved. She went through a whole thing that I don't want to talk about. And, you know, that was me trying to work through my feelings of guilt and, you know, failure and all those things in a very personal way. Probably too personal. But
yeah, you don't have to say it, you know, like, but I think we all do it.
We do,
and
very much so.
I think there is a handful of people who don't, and it is purely just escapism for them.
And that's fine. That's fine.
Like,
you play D&D however you want to play D&D. It doesn't have to be this huge thing that's connected to yourself. It can just be fun with your friends.
Yeah, but you know, like for some people, it is like catharsis.
It's more, definitely.
And it is almost therapy for them to like play something that they feel like maybe they can't be. And you can see for Ricky, an identity crisis basically their entire lives. And now Ricky is like non-binary because they were allowed to like experience that through the character to then be like, well, this feels,
is actually how this feels right.
Amazing. Yeah, this feels right. I think I'm going to do that. So it's like, I don't know. To me, like if you're denying people, it's a fucking fantasy game where you can be anything you want to be. So like, if you're putting those gender restrictions on,
you need to take a look at yourself.
I think you need to look at yourself.
You need to think about why you're really doing that.
I think, you know, because those things don't exist in this world. It's like,
well, that's not.
It's a literal made-up world where anything can happen, and you're putting those restrictions on. So you're putting those restrictions on for a reason.
Okay, those things don't exist in this world, but your friends at the table do.
Yeah,
your friends at the table who feel like that can see. They can see through it. Do you know what I mean? It doesn't fucking matter what happens in your fantasy world or what doesn't happen. There's real life people at your table who are probably your friends who will hear you saying these things and who feel these things. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, 100%.
So, Ricky, that's an amazing story.
We love you, Ricky.
We love you, Ricky. Thank you so much for your story.
We love trans people here in this community. You are safe.
We love non-binary.
We love non-binary.
We love all y'all.
All those marginalized communities.
Rats. We love you all.
Here, you're safe.
Very much so. Very, very much so. So, onto the flip side of Ricky's story. Oh, this is going to be horrible, isn't it? Flip-flopping between the nice stories to the bad stories.
That's the first one we've done, and that felt That felt amazing. And now this is about to feel horrible.
This is gonna feel
This one's
fucking
gonna
awful.
be like, I hate trans people.
I'm so sorry. Okay, so this is sent in by Anonymous. This is number 02, and you can use they, them pronouns for me. So there is a trigger warning.
Thank you for your submission.
Thank you so much. So there is a trigger warning of death in this, and a trigger warning of essay as well.
Okay.
They have said they gotten consent from the people involved to talk about this.
Okay.
Which is a very important thing, by the way. If you're submitting a horror story and it's not necessarily just involving you, do make sure you get the consent from people around you who were involved.
Yeah.
Because you never know if it could be further traumatizing someone or not. So please do check that. So, about a year ago, me and my friends were all...
Let me just put that trigger warning down here.
Thank you.
So we remember to put it on.
Thank you.
Because we can say it out loud, but maybe if you weren't looking for that 1 second, we'll put it on the screen.
Yeah. About a year ago, me and my friends were all getting into D&D/TTRPGs around the same time. But since none of us quite dared to be the one to DM first and then maybe become the doomed forever DM, we procrastinated playing for quite a while. But eventually our curiosity won and we came up with an idea. How about each of us run a one-shot or a short game to give us all the chance to DM and play? Brilliant idea.
Awesome idea.
Everyone agreed and we started planning. One of the campaign ideas that my best friend had was to play as ghosts who were trapped in the same house and do poltergeist shenanigans to spook the inhabitants out of the home. Love that. Love that so much. It was supposed to be a kind of silly setting with possible some deeper emotional role-playing elements down the line, since we were all dead people trapped in a place because we cannot move on for some reason.
Awesome.
We all thought we were on the same page, but apparently my best friend had not made it clear enough that this was supposed to be a silly, light-hearted game. As a side note, me and my best friend and another friend all lived together, so we had talked about it more in person and we were definitely on the same page. Now, the other two players live in different countries from us, but we all know each other very well at this point. We were aware that some of the bigger triggers that people had stemming from experiences like SA. Specifically, my best friend, the DM. This was known to every single player since it was a topic we were all preoccupied with at the time. This is important because when all of us started making our characters, we shared our ideas with everyone, and of course, most of us came up with something silly, but slightly horrific ideas for our character's death.
Yeah.
Like, my character was a dad who stepped on a Lego and fell and died and is now stuck because he can't forgive himself for abandoning his children.
Sadness.
That's sad.
That's sad.
That's real sad.
Jesus.
One of the other players, who is now my ex, decided to come up with a character who was a 14-year-old girl who got essayed and murdered. I was shocked. The lack of awareness and empathy honestly baffled me, since I knew this person and I loved them. I mean, maybe the vibe of the intended game completely flew over their head, but that's still no excuse, right? They went out of their way to make a character like this, which they've never done before, for the game run by someone who had been traumatized by an all too familiar experience. I obviously messaged them later about it, trying to explain how insensitive that was, and how a character like that was unacceptable considering everyone at the table had triggers relating to SA besides this person, especially the DM, and everyone knew. And their response, "Oh yeah, ha ha ha, I didn't even think about that. Do you think murder would be too dark as well?" I wanted to respond that since none of us had experienced being murdered before, that might not be a trigger, but I simply said that's fine since it was clear that this person did not get how their actions were wrong given the context. Unfortunately, they stayed my partner for quite a while after that, and that's on me, but eventually we broke up and we kicked them from our D&D group because they also started deleting other people's content on our Discord. To end this on a good note, we are now successfully running multiple campaigns and having a lot of fun playing D&D with a bunch of people that make us feel safe. Bloody hell. Hey, here's some advice.
Go on, hit him with the advice, hit him with the truth.
Don't play as a murdered 14-year-old girl who had been essayed.
No.
That's... Who's
How about we don't do that?
Yeah, how about we don't do that? I feel like that should have been a very base understanding.
Yeah.
But don't fucking do that. Don't do that. Don't do that.
Just don't do that.
Just don't
like, there's no need to do that. Like, that's not a requirement.
What's the need in that?
Like, what's the need in that? Like, is there a reason to do that? If there's not, then why are you doing it? Especially if everyone knows that the DM is like very openly said,
yeah.
like, this triggers me, to then just be so blasé to put it into
be like,
your story.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. 14-year-old girl who was essayed and murdered. It's like,
what the fuck is wrong with you?
I think you need to just think about what you're doing before you do it. I think you need to, like, put some thought into your actions. It's like people who just, like, do things. Like, and do you want to know what? I can't say I wasn't like that when I was younger. You know, like, I did things before thinking about who
Same.
I would hurt.
Same. Yeah.
And,
same.
you know, with life experience, and, you know, like, I don't know how old these people were when this happened. It sounds like it was quite a while ago. You know, like, it's tough because I want to fucking sit here and lambast them, but it's like, I did similar things to this when I was a child because I didn't think before I did things.
Yeah, me too.
Like, I was very much like that, which isn't okay. And, you know, as long as this person learnt from that and then was more considerate, I think that's the takeaway from it.
Agreed. We have all been inconsiderate in our lives.
100%.
We have all spoken without thinking.
Yeah.
How someone else in the room could have maybe experienced something like that.
Exactly.
And to be honest, that's something we've both had to work on.
Yeah, 100%.
Really hard.
Like, I can't express to you, like, how much of a horrible person I could have been when I was a child.
Oh my god, same.
Like, you know, I would say things to just get a reaction.
So would
I
I.
would do things to just attempt to be funny and shocking.
So would I.
But, you know, like, as I've grown up, I've realized that, you know, every single time you say something like that, you can, like, you're not taking into account every single person in the room who's lived a life and gone through something and experienced things that you probably haven't.
And you have to, and it's not hard.
It's not hard.
It's not hard to just fucking not be an edgelord and not say fucking stupid shit.
It isn't.
Like, this is just edgelord behavior.
It's edgelord behavior.
Like, a 14-year-old girl. First, like, what's your intention with that?
Like, what's your go-to with that?
What did you... So, yeah, granted, this was supposed to be like a silly campaign with potentially deeper emotional stuff, right?
What's silly about that? That's not silly. That's extremely distressing for a lot of people.
What do you want out of that?
Like, what is it? Like,
what do you want out of that?
Hopefully you're not going to go back and relive past trauma.
No, I was going to say...
You know, like, who the fuck's going to play that out?
Yeah. What do you want from that? How are you going to play that? Like, I don't know. I just... That...
It's the thing, innit? It's like, it doesn't have to be that, so why... Is that what you choose? Like, why is that what you go to?
Why is that what you default
like,
to?
What's that? Why is that you go to? Why is there
I think you need to think about that.
I think you need to think about that. I think you need to seriously think about why that was. Well, this person's not watching, and you know, like they're exes now, so I don't imagine that they're gonna say it. But you know, I think you do need to genuinely think about why that's you go to.
Yeah, that's
not good. That's very strange. That's very disturbing.
That is very disturbing.
Uncomfortable. That's your. Oh, this is what I'm gonna play.
And you know, maybe there's something to be said about we do be living in a society, but like
we do be living in a society now.
But like the kind of society we live in now, all of this stuff, murder, essay, etc., it's all glamorized. It's all, you get people fucking sitting on YouTube doing their makeup talking about it.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean?
You know, and there's like fangirls of serial murderers.
Yeah,
like what are you fucking doing?
We live in an age where it's actually easy to be desensitized to this.
Yeah.
And I know that because there was a point where I used to watch all that stuff.
Yeah.
In like what, 2017, 2018.
Yeah.
I used to watch that stuff and I got so desensitized to it. I had to stop watching it.
Yeah.
Because I remember saying to you, I need to stop watching this because it's fucking me up. And I'm so desensitized to it.
Yeah, there was one point where you were like so paranoid.
I was so paranoid.
Like about getting murdered.
Yeah, I still am.
Yeah, well, you know,
I still
like
am.
fucking...
But, you know, it's everywhere. It's like this flashy, like blinking neon lights now. So I understand that people are desensitized to it. But just, if you watch things like that, this is kind of getting off topic a little bit. If you watch things like that, just take a moment to think that there's a real life human being.
There's people
with
who this is affected.
And a soul and a life and family and friends and loves and enemies. You know, there's a person involved in it.
Yeah. And there's people involved in this campaign.
Mm-hmm.
So why is that what you're picking? Especially if you know that the DM is like triggered by that.
Unrestful.
Even if they weren't triggered by that, you still shouldn't pick it. Like, that's just another reason not to pick it.
Yeah.
But what the fuck, man? Like, why are you using that? I'm trying not to get upset.
I know, absolutely.
I'm very much trying to keep my cool because
absolutely, completely unrestful, ranted fucking vibes.
you need to just
you
you need to consider. And you know, like I did just say, like, you know, like when I was younger and when you are younger, like those things don't matter to you. But I think if we start to like instill the fact that they do matter into like younger generations, that's good because nobody instilled that into me.
Nope.
Nobody instilled that into me. I had to fucking
funny.
I had to fucking try and teach myself this stuff.
Yeah.
And you know, I'm 29 now and I've fucking lived like 29 years on this earth and I have like a decent amount of life experience. So I understand that my actions have hurt people.
Yeah.
So if people can understand at a younger age that what you say fucking matters and what you say and what you do means things, like that's a good thing to begin to like get into yourself.
Agreed. I agree. I completely agree. And OP, I'm sorry. I'm sorry you went through. I'm sorry your DM went through this. Thanks for submitting it. There's not really much more we can say about that. Apart from, you know, I'm so glad that you're not with this person. You kicked them out, and you know, to this day, you're running multiple campaigns.
Multiple.
Thank you for your story. I knew that was going to feel awful after that heartwarming story. I knew it. I just knew it. I also compiled a script, but I knew it. So
do we get another heartwarmer now?
Yeah, shall we have another heartwarmer? How are we feeling? Should we get a nice one going?
Let's do it.
All right. So this has been submitted by LoungingLemur, and she goes by she, her. Lemur, honestly, people are going to be like, you always pick Lemur's stories. Lemur's stories are really good.
Yeah.
She articulates herself very well, and they're great stories, and this is a great story too.
Yeah.
So, and it's a happy story from Lemur as well.
Lemur's had a lot of trash.
Yes, sadly. A lot of trash.
Sadly for her.
A lot of trash. And she actually titled it A Happy Story.
A happy one.
So I've been with this group for 7 years, and we are now in our 3rd campaign. We only play 3.5. The story takes place during our previous campaign, which lasted over 3 years. I have a thing with fairy dragons, and it's well established in this group. My character's name was Kitten, and she was a vivacious, spell-scale, beguiler, sorcerer, mind-bender.
Holy fuck.
Basically an incorporeal human dragonborn with no snout, tail, or claws, etc. But did have dragon blood and dragon scales, and the classes basically made her a spell rogue mind manipulator.
Cool.
You can just say her name was Kitten.
No, we want the juice.
No.
That's the juice.
As we leveled up, I had taken the feat necessary to get a fairy dragon familiar. In fact, it was the only reason I dipped into sorcerer. As our party adventured around the world, I would gather information for fairy dragon locations, but when we went, I would almost always fail my rolls to either find one, or when I did believe one was listening, I would fail to convince it to travel with me and be my familiar.
Sad fairy dragon noises.
Sad fairy dragon noises. About a week in game time after my last failed attempt, we were in a forest when the druid rolled a natural 20 to listen, and he heard the sound of water flowing. We followed the sound and came across a tiny old dilapidated temple. The outside was carved in fairy dragons, and the fountain that was making the sound, the water was coming out of a carved stone fairy dragon's mouth. The other party members stayed outside, and only I went in. I carefully searched, and I found a small nest with a bunch of tiny broken eggs. I asked the DM if I could find any intact eggs, and he had me roll a search. I rolled very high, not a natural 20, and I found an egg mostly hidden under a different nest and kept warm by the vent to a hot spring. I carefully collected the egg for the next 3 days. I talked to it, kept it warm in my shirt, and sang to it, and it eventually began to hatch. Why is this getting me? And a tiny baby fairy dragon was born. Watching her be born, I can't see because my tears.
Yeah, that's a common thing that happens on this podcast.
Oh,
Clouded by tears.
Yeah. Watching her be born, I fell in instant love with her, and I decided that she was not my familiar. She was my daughter, and I named her Rosebud. And whenever I talked about her, I called her my daughter, and she called me Mum, and I raised her. Several months later, in game time, when the party went on a very dangerous mission. I like, Lima, how you've capitalized very dangerous mission.
It was very, very dangerous.
I made a will that the estate the king granted me for rescuing the queen would be passed down to Rosebud. I then left her at my estate with a babysitter that I trusted. That entire mission, Rather than searching every nook and cranny and thieving every possible thing I could, it was, we need to complete this mission so I can go home to my daughter.
Now that's character development, baby.
At the very end of the campaign, the king and the queen abdicated the throne out of their own volition. And with their blessing, the new queen and I happily married, and we became co-queens, with Rosebud becoming a princess and the only heir to the throne. Fucking hell.
Fucking hell, that was so nice.
Oh, God.
Damn.
She was my daughter.
Props to your DM.
Oh, my God.
Props to that DM.
Oh, my God, 100%.
Do you want to know what? I'm like, props to that DM because I'm so used to getting fucking... Like, every time there's a small amount of hope on this podcast, I just get shat on.
Yeah.
So it just feels really nice for, you know, like, Lemur to have a goal.
Yep.
And for, you know, not to just give it to them because as soon as you just give them the goal, it feels bad.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, you know, to have failed a few times because the DC was maybe a bit too high, but then to, like, find the Dragon Temple and then to see the smashed eggs and be like, oh... But then to just like roll just high enough to find one egg. Oh man, like that feels great. And then to like have to nurture it till it hatches. And then, you know, like the DM not being like, a troll fights you and kills, you know what I mean? Because that's the usual shit we're used to on this podcast. Like that feels so amazing to like have a bit of a small amount of test to then get what you want, and then to get what you want, and then
and it'd be so much more
for like it to like, and props to Lemur to like for have it like change the character's mentality. It's
100%.
like we aren't sticking around and stealing.
Yeah,
we aren't
we are fucking doing this as fast as we can because I have a daughter to go home to.
We get in and we get out. And we need to be safe, and we all need to return home because we need to return home because I've got something to return home for this time. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I do know what you mean.
That's character development.
It is.
That's character development. And
it is.
That's so good. See, like, you don't need an absolute epic fucking story. Like,
you just need a tiny baby fairy dragon called Rosebud.
You just need to want to tame a fairy dragon. Like, that's amazing. Like, props to that DM for like making such a small thing such an amazing adventure.
Yeah, and you know, as your friend, to be like, okay, I know Lemur loves fairy dragons, and I know that Lemur would really love this. Yeah,
doesn't need to be something fucking insane.
No.
Doesn't need to
oh my
be
god,
something,
no.
It's just a goal.
Yeah, that's amazing.
You know, like Lemur took that tiny goal of just loving fairy dragons and made it an entire fucking character backstory. And look at what it's done to Margaret.
Look what you've done.
Look what you've done. Like, that's so insane to be able to just tell, like, a small story in such a beautiful way. Congratulations, Lemur. That's so awesome. You've had enough shit in your time.
You have. Lemur, I'm so happy for you.
To experience that and have such a great time is awesome.
Oh,
man.
I loved that. Did that get you?
Not really. It didn't get me in terms of crying, but, you know, I feel good.
Yeah, good.
I feel my heart is warmed.
Same. My heart, consider it warm.
Do you want to know what? I like these heartwarming stories.
Me too.
These feel awesome.
My eyes, consider them absolutely drowning.
I love that. It's so good.
Oh my god. I felt a really big tear roll over my nose.
Just love that so much.
I love that. Lemur, that was amazing. Are we ready for the next horror story?
No.
This is horrible. I hate this so much. We are not doing it like this next time.
I was like, let's intersperse them so they feel good. But it's not that they feel good. The horror stories just feel so much worse.
I was like, we should have it so it's like bad news, good news. Have all
what
the horrors. What do you
think? We have all the horrors and then all the good stuff?
Are we giving you fucking
or
whiplash?
Should we go horror, heartwarming?
Yeah, or should we just have dedicated episodes?
Or should we just have dedicated episodes to heartwarming?
All of you listening, this is my plea once again to you. I am once again asking you to send me stories in. Send
horror
me
stories.
Send me heart wrenching.
Yeah, send me the heart wrenches. I want the heart wrenches.
Send me the heart wrenches.
Let's try and make Margaret cry for the whole podcast.
Done. Sold.
Today.
There.
Yeah, get your heartwarmers in.
Get your heartwarmers
in. Come on.
You must have some.
Come on.
You must.
All right. Well, you have to have some.
Fucking hell, this is the third horror story.
Yes.
And this is not good. And
God.
And
this is not good.
And this has been sent in by Lenny, and she goes by she, her.
Any trigger warnings?
Huh?
Any trigger warnings?
No trigger warnings.
Right.
No trigger warnings.
Sorry, no.
Thank you, Lenny. Very much.
We've had one from Lenny before.
Yeah, Lenny's in the Discord as well.
Yeah, thanks, Lenny.
Thank you so much, Lenny. So, hi y'all. While this is a horror story, it's also a request for advice, namely to answer the question.
Okay.
Is it necessary to actually be good friends with everyone at your table to have a successful campaign? Unfortunately, this one's fairly long, much like my other submissions. I'm sorry, don't worry about it.
Don't worry about it.
No, it's not necessary.
Oh, if you just, like, I haven't heard the story or anything like that.
No, yes.
I don't, no. You don't need to.
Mm-mm.
As long as you all...
Aren't insane.
It's like that. As long as you all understand how each other plays, you don't have to be, like, best friends out of the thing.
You
as
just
long
have
as
to
you
be on
all,
the same page.
You have to be on the same page. Like, being on the same page in Dungeons & Dragons is so fucking important. Like, if you aren't all on the same page, you will probably take things that aren't personal attacks as personal attacks just purely because of the different ways you play.
True. Very true.
I think being on the same page is more important than being friends. Honestly.
The biggest part of the battle, innit?
It is. It's 100%. Is understanding each other is so important.
Yeah. So I'd been part of this group for a year and a half, and apart from one player, who I will call C, I love everyone at the table dearly. I even invited my ex-girlfriend, now just roommate, into the campaign some 9-ish months ago, and then I started running Curse of Strahd for the original group, but couldn't cut it due to stress. I feel you, Lenny.
Yeah.
My roommate took over.
Margaret's going to be running Curse of Strahd after my campaign, though.
You keep saying this, Jack.
Oh,
You keep
so
saying
excited.
it.
I mean, we talked about it.
Who knows? So my roommate took over and we had a blast for 6 sessions. And then that one player made us throw it all away and walk away from the table 2 days ago. I have tried so hard to like C. They're not a bad person, so I figured them being an acquaintance was good enough. I don't need to be best friends with everyone, but that acquaintanceship ultimately ran thin. This was a tricky situation where C and the rest of the party have been friends for much longer than I'd been in the picture, so it felt uncomfortable for me as the newbie to come to my DM about my frustrations. I'm also not a stand up for myself kind of person.
It's okay.
That's okay. Hey.
Some people just like that and don't think that
don't think
being
any
like
less
that,
of yourself for that.
like, you know, I know that we maybe make it sound like that's the most important thing to do, but, you know, some people just aren't comfortable doing it.
I think we make it sound easier than it is as well.
Yeah, but that's because we're both massive personalities.
Yeah, exactly.
And, you know, we're both fucking...
And old and grizzled and
jaded, and also, like...
We know what we want.
Injustice to us, like, puts a bee in our bonnet so fucking hard.
It does.
It's almost to a detriment sometimes.
No, it is, very much so. Injustice, inequality, all of that, fucks us up.
It fucking, like, I'll lie awake at night thinking about how much fucking I hate this world.
Yeah.
So, like,
it's a detriment. It definitely is a detriment.
Like, don't think that you have to be like that, because, you don't.
No,
you absolutely don't.
You do not. My roommate, though, shared my frustrations, so I know it's not just me. C constantly lies about their roles, metagames all the time, butts into things that don't concern them, constantly eavesdrops, chomping at the bit to just walk past arguments, etc. They patronize me to no end because they inadvertently made themselves the party leader. For example, no, this character can't steal this thing they already rolled for because I'm watching them. And worst of all, they have no concept of boundaries. There's also an important part of this, which is that they absolutely disregarded my roommate as a player and treats her as an NPC. For example, character will want to come with us because it's relevant to her backstory. I shouldn't know anything about. Oh, she's a paladin. She can prepare that spell. That's helpful to me. If I could recommend the Webster's Dictionary put a picture to represent the term main character syndrome, I would recommend a picture of C. Yeah, sounds like it as well.
So fucking annoying. That's their spell list, not yours. Get your hands off.
Shut up.
Get your fucking
it's
hands
like,
off.
Oh, I know you're a paladin. I know what spells you can prepare. Shut up.
I don't. Like, if somebody wants to steal something, and, you know, like, you aren't even in the room, but suddenly, oh, no, I'm there watching. It's like, why are you there watching? That's because you're using out-of-game knowledge to basically sway your in-game actions. That's the only reason.
Give me the sword.
Give me the sword.
Give me the sword.
Give me the sword.
Give me the sword. I run to the tomb. I see the sword's gone. Give me the sword.
I see the sword's gone. Give me the sword.
I have a really badass evil character whose arc ended in an evil warlock patron being unleashed. C messaged me and said that their character didn't know how to handle it, and because they're the party leader, they're going to ask my character to leave.
Like, do you want to know what? It's the worst thing ever when you refer to yourself as the party leader.
A leader does not refer to themselves as the leader.
The leader does not refer to themselves as the leader.
The leader doesn't have to. People do that for you.
Yeah, exactly. Like my granddad always said to me. my granddad always said, it was slightly different, but I apply it to everything in my life. It's never call yourself funny. If you're funny, people will call you funny.
Mm-hmm.
If you have to call yourself funny, you're not funny.
And if you have to call yourself the leader, you're not the leader.
You know what I mean? Like, don't fucking... it's everyone else's game, and some people play it to just be a party.
Yeah,
yes,
we've never had a leader.
There can be people who come up with more, like, ideas, and then there can be people who come up with more plans, but that doesn't make them a leader.
Party,
because, you know, like, everyone has to agree. That's the whole point of a party. A group of people, a collaborative storytelling game. If there's one person who's the leader... I don't know if it's that you're playing it wrong. People can take a leadership role, but
as long as everyone's happy with it.
Call yourself a leader.
Let people anoint you as the leader.
And to use that power as leader,
and to be like,
self-anointed.
And also to be like, I'm going to ask your character to leave. What do you mean leave?
What do you mean?
Go where?
What do you mean? Why do you
leave?
Why do you have that? Why do you have that situation? Why? Why do you have that power?
To leave?
You're so annoying.
Oh
God,
sorry,
fucking
Lenny.
Jesus.
This was around the time my roommate and I broke up, and I wasn't in the best place. So, wanting to avoid the absolutely unnecessary drama, I fully had my character just die.
Oh.
It worked out narratively, the best way she could have possibly ever gone out, but that was a year of playing this character just gone. Now, the new character comes in, and I love him. I'm so excited to play him. Roommate also brought in a new character, like a duo thing that we spent hours talking about them. And after having just broke up, let me tell you the sheer joy I had to reconnect with her, and it was so delightful.
That's awesome.
That is, you know what, being able to break up and then still stay as friends, like genuinely stay as friends, is special.
And just to call it back, it just bamboozles me that people are like, no. Like, in-game things can't affect like out-of-game things. It's like, of course they can. Like Ricky's story earlier. Like what I said, like what Margaret said, like with this, like this is like repaired a broken relationship through the game. So don't tell me that that's not how it works, because for some people it fucking is. I'll fucking fight you.
Oh my God.
Fight you to the death.
Tell them.
Over it.
Show them. Oh my God. Go on. You can finish him. Finish the move. Oh shit. Yeah, you've been told.
Hit him with the headbutt.
You've been told.
You can play your game and not do that, and just have a silly goofy time and not fucking think about like your real life at all. But for some people, it's therapeutic. So fucking leave them alone.
Tell them, Jack. It was delightful. So, but within the first 2 sessions of playing him, C had metagamed their way into realizing that my character was some sort of pseudo-vampire. He's a Dampier?
Dampier is basically like a variant sort of vampire race.
Yeah. He's a Dampier entity. He poked and prodded and tried to suss out every bit of my backstory possible, to the point that as a player, I was just so mad. Some very intense, dramatic things happened between the characters, and there was a massive rift torn like 2 months ago. C messaged me about a week and a half ago with a very familiar message.
I don't like your character. I think you should leave.
How would your character react if mine asked him to leave? Yeah. All right, I'm out. Yeah, cool. Peace.
Fuck this person. Jesus Christ. What? Like, when you're typing this message out, do you not think to yourself, God, I sound like such a fucking asshole
This is the second time I've asked them. I wonder if maybe they feel like I'm targeting them a little bit.
If I'm the problem.
Yeah. I'm the leader, though.
That's far too much introspection, I think, for this person.
100%. That was it. That was the last straw. I wasn't going to do it again. I'd only played this character for about 8 sessions, and I wasn't going to start all over again at the end of our campaign because of C. I took a night to calm down, talked it out with my roommate,
well done,
and ultimately told my DM that we needed to step away. This was the second time I'd been asked to get rid of a character, and I was just too tired to deal with it anymore. He did try to help, but my roommate and I had taken a week and a half to think over it, and we just can't. Man, that's such a shame, like, that you had to.
At that moment, Dungeon Master should have gone, I'll fucking kick him out.
Should have gone, okay, I can recognize that they're my lifelong friend, and
the thing, yeah, like, I can recognize that my lifelong friend, but like, a lot of people are now, this is the second time they've asked this person, not run it past me.
And now someone else wants to leave.
That's a terrible thing to ask somebody in the first place, and now somebody else wants to leave too. Like, this person should be, in my opinion, it's already too far gone to keep them in the campaign.
Yeah, agreed.
Like, just gone
At
for
the
me.
very least, very fucking least, fucking tell them they can't do. Sorry, did you go? Tell them they can't fucking do that.
Yeah,
at the
100%.
very least.
At the very least.
At the very, very, very least. Lenny. I'm so sorry that you
Lenny,
and your roommate had to leave.
This is fucking dog shit. This is such dog shit.
So now we're thinking of starting up a new game.
Do it.
Finding one to play in, and my roommate wants to run some different homebrew campaigns, but we're stuck with this deep-seated fear that it's going to happen again. We're going to find people to play with, but there's this one person who's going to be just a little bit aggravating at first, who will turn into this giant, all-consuming snowball of stress and a headache, and then we'll have to start all over again. We don't have many friends and even fewer who are interested in D&D, so we'll likely have to find some strangers to play with, and that's just so scary.
Join the Discord. I know you're already in
Lenny's
there.
already in. Yeah.
Recruit some people from the Discord.
Yeah, Lenny, my God. First of all, we say this all the time, and I feel so bad for people who, and I'm not saying that you're new to D&D, because I know you're not, because you've been playing for about a year, right? And you just haven't found the right table
100%.
for you yet. That is simply all it is. Like,
You should just invite C and then tell them that you don't think... How would you feel if I kicked your character out right now?
yeah, join.
Join.
You're gone.
Yeah. So
You're
I know that
finished.
you've brought this character to the table, but how would you feel if I asked you to leave?
To leave as the DM. But
See how you fuck it. Don't do that. Obviously don't do that.
No, I promise, in the right group, this won't happen.
No.
I know what you mean
Yeah,
by,
it's tough.
what if we find someone who at first has like a couple of red flags and then don't take anyone you do not feel right about.
Yeah, and if you do feel something maybe is like building up, just
Talk to them.
the thing to do is just attack it straight away. Not attack it, but like deal with it straight away.
Yeah, agreed.
Get in there and just be like, okay, this feels wrong for this reason. I just want to have an open, honest conversation about it, and we'll squash it. And if those things keep happening, then and you've talked to that person, then you know that person is the problem. If you deal with the situation straight away, and because the thing is, what we've said before, if people are doing something wrong, unless they know they're doing something wrong, how can they change?
Yeah, definitely. And you mentioned this snowball effect. The snowball effect only happens if it's not addressed immediately.
Mm-hmm.
It's like some people, they have a behavior, they see no one stops them, they continue the behavior.
You just dropped a bit of popcorn.
And then it snowballs and it escalates.
Yeah. Because they think they can get away with it.
Mhm.
That's the thing. It's like if it gets called out straight away, they're like, "Oh fuck, can't do that."
Yeah. I think I can't stress enough the importance of having an open line of communication
100%.
between everyone.
Yeah.
That's so important. And we were very fucking lucky that the first time we played D&D, we were playing with the people we liked. But even then, people dropped out.
People dropped out.
And
people didn't get along.
people didn't
and
get
like
along.
that was between a friendship group.
Yeah, that was between
Because
lifelong friends.
When games get involved, like things do change.
They do.
Like
They do.
because people want different things out of it. When we played, like some people just wanted to like not really role play and just do combat and sort of stuff like that. And it's like there's nothing wrong with that,
No.
but that just wasn't the game that we wanted to play.
Exactly.
And now we found a game of people who love to role play, love rolling dice, love optimizing the characters. And when we play a game, every single one of us understands each other. Even it's so funny because Matthew is such a shining example of somebody who thought something, but now that he's in the right group,
Yeah.
like Matthew was always so fucking scared. This is a little bit of a different topic, but he was always so scared of like being too powerful and asking for too much. But I'm the sort of DM where I'm like, you ask me, and if it's too much, we'll just nerf it.
Yeah.
Like let's just get what you want as a character first. And then
we'll strip it from there.
We'll strip it from there because it's like, get what you want because that's what's going to make you happy. And all we need to do is then tune the numbers.
Mm-hmm.
That's all we need to do. So like when Matthew used to come to me with like an idea for a magic item, he'd be like, well, I do want this, but don't give it to me if you don't want to because I understand that I would be way too powerful. I'm like, Matthew, calm down. You know what I mean? Like now Matthew's in an environment where he knows
no one's going to judge him.
no one's judging him, like, and he can be the optimizer he wants to be because he's very good at optimizing.
He is.
But
He is very good.
He's good at optimizing,
Yeah,
but he's
he is.
scared to do it sometimes.
Yeah. Like
So-
Matthew has a very, very like analytical brain. He's
Yeah.
great at looking at the situation, looking at the numbers, and applying his logic to that. Like that's what he excels at.
And it's like Josh is the absolute opposite. Josh knows exactly how to optimize a character, knows what like extremely strong combinations, but it's sort of like, well, that would just be too strong, so I'm just going to do this for now, and we can maybe get there later.
Yeah.
And you know what I mean? Like, and when you get that group together, and when everyone's on the same page of like deep roleplay and story and all the things that you love, like it just feels great.
I agree.
It just feels great, and you'll get that by just being honest with each other.
And we've gone through multiple groups.
Yeah.
We've played in multiple groups.
You'll get there in the end.
Granted, some of them we couldn't take part in because we didn't have time and we would have loved to.
Yeah.
Others, we just didn't like playing with them.
Yeah, others we just didn't. And there's nothing wrong with that. We're just two different like styles of play. And
Definitely.
like with this situation, like, yes, you might find some duds and you might just find some people who just play in a completely different style to you. But I'm telling you, if you just set your style out early, stick to your guns with what you like, you'll end up getting the group that you want.
Agreed.
And it might take a bit of time, but you'll get there.
Agreed. And the importance of a session 0.
Oh my god.
Oh my god. No matter what, no matter if someone joins in halfway through the campaign, have a session 0, even if it's just with them.
Yeah.
Like, make it clear what you want, make it clear what you don't want,
make
and you will very quickly see how that person is going to be, and you're going to find people who aren't going to be the right fit because you know we're all human beings with different things.
Yeah, we want different wants and needs from D&D.
Yeah, you will find someone. And again, I know you're in the Discord, Lenny. I don't know about your roommate, but really, genuinely, especially you said that you DM'd and you didn't want to anymore because of stress, but you know, there's always things going on in the Discord and there's like-minded people. There is like-minded people. So even then, this goes to anyone. If for whatever reason a group doesn't work out in our Discord, in our community, it won't be because of any of this fucking weird shit.
Yeah, it won't be because of like
people being racist or homophobic or
like people just like dropping like essay into things like that.
It wouldn't
when people aren't comfortable.
ever be that.
Never.
However, you know, even though we all have a similar interest, you wouldn't be here if you didn't think the same as us.
Yeah.
People play differently, and there's going to be groups in our Discord that don't work out.
And the thing is, I've already seen like people like sign up for games and be like, oh no, I dropped out because it doesn't really sound like the game for me.
That's fine.
That is brilliant behavior.
Yeah. Oh my god. 100%.
To take yourself out of a campaign because you're like, nah, I just don't think we were gonna like play the same way and play like I wasn't gonna get out of it, because it's even worse to just go in and then drop out like a number of sessions in because but you know you might. That's still also good. To be like, it's really early. It's not what I thought it was. Like, I'm really sorry, but like, it's just not the game that I thought it was.
Everyone is so respectful. And you know what? Everyone's had a session 0.
Yeah.
And people have left in session 0s, which that's the whole point of session 0s. Sorry, that got off topic a little bit there. But
yeah.
Lenny, I'm sorry.
Find the group. I promise.
C sounds like an absolute
loser.
Insufferable. Rancid vibes.
Hit them with the rancid
vibes. Unrestful, rancid vibes.
Sponsored by Santa Cruz.
Yeah. Have you noticed every single time you talk, I'm like trying to get all the popcorn in my mouth.
You're done. You're making quick work of it.
I am. Do you want some?
No, I'm okay.
You sure?
Yeah.
You want some?
There you go.
There you go. Oh, imagine if I...
Oh, no! You gotta eat that one.
Imagine if I just fucking yeeted it.
Yeeted it. Well, you've done it before. You've chucked the sweet at someone.
I did chuck a sweet at someone.
You're next.
Yeah. Thank you, Lenny, for your submission.
Thanks,
I'm
Lenny.
sorry that happened. Have faith, Lenny.
Have faith.
Have faith. Okay, this is a glory story. This is a good one. So this is numero 30 Glorio Storio.
Numero Glorio.
That's
number 6 in total. Number 3 Glory Story. Let's go. Ready for the happy vibes.
So, hello, it's that one weird friend again, and I use any pronouns.
That one weird friend has been here for a long time.
Yeah, what one weird friend? You were like one of the OGs.
Yeah.
One of the OGs.
OGs.
So thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
This will be a pretty uneventful submission, but I saw the post in the community tab asking for submissions, so I thought, why not? Thank you so much.
We're going to call them OBs.
OBs.
Original Blasters.
OBs. Oh no, like OBGYN.
No, just OB.
Okay, got you.
Original Blaster.
Original Blasters.
What were you saying?
Don't know.
The dog's crying.
Sorry.
The dog's now not happy.
Yeah, no.
He's had enough.
Yeah, he's done.
He's got another 2 stories after this one, so he needs to calm himself down.
So, Anyway, D&D is one of the main things that brought me and my boyfriend together. And also sort of how I realized that I liked him. My boyfriend's DM for our group, and my character is sort of in a relationship with one of the NPCs. I say sort of because at the beginning of the campaign, my character was under the impression that the NPC was dead. Then when they were reunited, the NPC was being mind-controlled and couldn't remember my character. And now that the NPC has regained his memory, my character has been ordered to kill the NPC by the leader of the cult that he grew up in, Lord.
Jesus.
Anyway, back to the point.
Anyway.
We started talking more because we both got a bit hyperfixated on my character and the NPC. And then when we got closer and talked way more in general, then one of the other players hosted a fantasy masquerade party for their birthday. And all of us players went as our characters.
Awesome.
And my now boyfriend went as the NPC. We did a little fun photo shoot with the whole party. And me and my boyfriend ended up doing some romantic poses.
Ooh.
So they say I got Kabedoned. Kabedoned? Kabedon-ed. What the fuck does that mean? Go on, search it up, Jack.
Search it up. Hit up.
If this is explicit, that one weird friend. Kabedon. Kabedoned.
Kabon.
Kabedon-ed. I bet everyone watching is like, Margaret, Ed. I bet everyone is like, what on earth? I'm absolutely certain you've typed that in completely wrong, Jack.
Kabedon?
Yeah.
Yeah.
-ed.
Kabedon refers to the action of slapping a wall fiercely, which produces the sound
God.
don.
Is it the whole putting the arm on the wall and then the person's there and then leaning it? Okay,
anyway.
I get you. Wow. Ooh, that's
raunchy,
intense.
some raunchy roleplay.
That is intense. It was a great lol. I was so flustered the whole time, and I was so amazingly bad at hiding it, and it was very obvious. I stayed over at my best friend's house that night. They're also part of the D&D party, and they had to put up with me being a mess about realizing that I had a crush. About a month later, during which all the other party members figured out that I liked the DM, because I am absolutely incapable of being subtle once I am aware of my feelings, he asked me out, and I, of course, said yes. He sometimes listens to the Eldritch Podblast, so if he is, then I want him to know that I am so glad that we started that campaign last year. And Dungeons & Dragons is so special to me now because it brought us together, and I am so incredibly thankful for that. And so thankful that he is in my life. That one weird friend.
That's so cute.
Oh.
Man.
I love
That's
that.
so good.
Oh, I love love.
I love love.
I love
love is good.
I'm a sucker
love is
for
life.
Love. Live, laugh, love.
Live, laugh, love.
What can I say?
I can't say anything more.
No.
Live, laugh, love.
Live, laugh, love. I love that one weird friend. I hope your boyfriend is listening. I hope he hears this.
You fucking better be. Why aren't you?
I hope he's listening, and to that one weird friend's boyfriend, I hope you know how much they adore you, and they're very thankful for you being in their life.
That's so good. That's
like
that was a power move, by the way. Turn up as the NPC.
Hell yeah! Oh my fucking
That
god!
was such a fucking
I know, to be like, all right, we're
move.
doing this.
I know that you love this NPC, so
oh,
here I am as the NPC.
I'd love to see those photos.
Oh man,
I'd love.
If
to
you
see
want to
those
share the
photos.
photos in the Discord,
you don't have to.
You obviously don't have to. But if you want
to,
you can in the IRL section.
Hit us up.
Man, that's so cute.
I love that. That's so sweet. And again,
see the duality of these situations.
Yeah, I know.
Like, that's so amazing that you found literal love through Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah, and you know, it doesn't have to be necessarily love. Like, people find long-lasting friendships through D&D.
Which is just so special.
D&D is the type of thing where you're kind of in it for life, right?
Yeah.
Like, once you start playing D&D,
I think it's tough to stop.
Agreed.
I think it's really tough to stop.
It becomes more than a hobby.
Yeah.
I think. It becomes a lifestyle. I'm a lifer.
I'm a lifer.
I'm a lifer. Oh, okay. So, this is the last horror story. Man.
I don't want to do it.
I don't want to do it.
I don't want to do it after that one weird friend's awesome submission.
That
was just so beautiful.
I know.
And I'm so happy for you.
Me too.
And now I'm going to be real sad again.
I know.
No.
All right. So, my pronouns are she, her, and you can call me Andi. Thank you, Andi.
Thank you, Andi.
I don't know why I said your name like that. Andi.
Thanks, Andi.
Thanks, Andi.
Thanks for your submission, Andi. God.
Fucking Andi again.
Sick.
No, thank you, Andi. So, I couldn't decide whether or not to send this one under horror stories or weird house rules. I had this DM that would be extremely punishing on me, in particular, if I ever dared to flavor my spells.
Fucking this winds me
I know you're going to be so pissed off.
This winds me up so much.
You're going to be so pissed off.
Oh my God.
The context is, I played an artificer who is known for wacky inventions in a game that was heavily combat and exploration based. This was fine for me and everyone at the table, but I am more of a storyteller than I run up and hit it kind of person in D&D.
Fucking same.
Yeah, no hate to those who are. So I tend to give my spells a little spice.
A little pizzazz.
A little bit of spice when I have my character cast them. Examples being, I'd say my shocking grasp was a broken invention that I would spray with water, then shove into an enemy's face.
Fucking sick.
Love that.
Fucking dope. Like making it fucking short circuit.
Yeah,
so it's like
love that.
And
love
then just
that.
like ramming it into someone's face.
Absolutely love that.
Like that's sick. That's like I can't tell you like how much when I think of a character, I don't just think about I think about how they like handle themselves on the battlefield. Like that is so important to me. Like when I describe my spells, when I describe like the way I move, when I describe like everything, like I love to visualize.
Yeah.
So especially when it comes to like I love flavoring marshals in like this like really special way, like because I think it's like it gives marshals like life.
It does.
And to me, that's so important. So when I'm thinking of a character, I think of a massive backstory that I want to fucking explore, and then I think about how they handle themselves in combat.
Yeah.
And then to have that just taken away, like that would be the most fucking disappointing.
Devastating.
And it means nothing.
It's just flavor.
Nothing. It's just flavor.
It's just flavor. It's just flavor. So,
sorry.
My cure wounds was a syringe of questionable alchemy. So on and so forth. Full silence, Jack. I've got kernels in my teeth.
Jamming needles into people to cast cure wounds is a very awesome way to cast cure wounds.
Amen.
Love that.
I'll drink to that.
That's so cool.
I don't know why you said it like that, but
it gives you intense eye contact as well.
Intense eye contact. So the problem started pretty early on, where my DM would take my flavor as a mechanical fact and make it affect combat negatives despite my intentions. The first example I remember this happening with was when I cast the catapult spell, and I said I had scrapped together a launching device and launched a rock on it. The DM said it would take me more than one round to build it.
Shut the fuck up.
And because it was funny at the time, I laughed and I agreed. My next turn, though, I did launch it, and it hit the enemy. But the DM said it did no damage because he was immune to non-magical bludgeoning.
It's a fucking spell, mate.
I reminded him that this was just the catapult spell reflavored, but he was firm in the way that it was something I just cobbled together so it wasn't magical. Oh.
Why are you making it so
Tell me you
fucking...
hate fun.
Yeah, like that is literally like Fun Police 101.
Oh.
Like you play it, like I think that's so funny to have a massive like sack with you, like over the shoulder sack. And you're like, oh, I want to cast catapult. And you like dip your hand in the bag and you can just hear like clanging of metal. And you pull out this shitty little catapult that you've been working on and you pop it down on the ground and you put an object in it and you fire the object. That is so creative and so funny. And that like gives a theme to your character. Like I can just picture, Junkrat from Overwatch. Junkrat from Overwatch. I'm
Everyone
getting
else
Junkrat from Overwatch vibes there.
Everyone knows.
Like that's so creative. Why did it take 2 rounds? And why is it non-fungible?
Why would you rob your players of that? Oh, so this kind of thing would persist for a while until I had to be very mechanical and specific about my wording so it couldn't be used against me. Arguably, the worst example is when I used my last spell slot to cast Cure Wounds on our barbarian during a hard fight. I had already flavored my Cure Wounds as a syringe with questionable liquid in it before, so there was no wriggling out of it when the DM told me to roll a D100. I apparently rolled the wrong percent because it ended up doing damage to our barbarian and actually brought him into death saves in one of the hardest battles of our game. I tried to tell him again that this was just me casting Cure Wounds, a spell guaranteed to heal, but he was once again firm.
Your DM's a fucking absolute
asshole. Come on.
I'd like to use a harsher word, but I would like to get monetized.
Like, how? There's no reason for this.
There's no reason.
You know that they're just using
It's
Cure
like,
Wounds.
I use my spell slot, I use my action, I touch, I'm stood next to them, I just inject them with this liquid, which I've always done and called it that. and you are literally making it difficult and making it not do the thing that you want it to do because you hate fun and you hate creativity and you're really, really boring.
Amen.
You're
Tell
really,
him.
really boring.
Tell him. And you know what? I would understand if there wasn't a conversation afterwards being like, no, I'm just casting cure wounds.
I'm stood next to them. It's an action. I've got the spell slot. I fit all the requirements. It's just the way it looks.
I would understand. Well, no, I wouldn't. I would understand a bit more the DM not understanding. But at this point, it's like, what the fuck's your intention with that? What are you getting out of that? Anyway, this happened a bunch more times, and I was getting so tired of being punished for trying to be creative that I ended up skipping several sessions purely because I was afraid my DM was going to turn my spells around on me in every combat, and that the party would be better off in battle without me as a variable. My last straw was when the entire party had been dropped out of the sky, and I casted Featherfall. Like normal, I explained what I do to cast it. I pull a string on my backpack and it puffs out to be a parachute that I clip to my party members as we fall. I thought the DM would be more lenient in a situation where several party members could be killed by fall damage. The DM looks genuinely pleased to tell me that I can't, because we left all of our bags behind when we left town. I remind him, out of game, again, that I am just casting a spell mechanically, and even change my wording so that they're parachute parts instead. But he's still adamant. And we fall, and we die.
Your DM is an absolute fucking loser.
I left that table, and I never came
Good.
back. Good,
fucking
Andy,
hell.
good.
Jesus Christ.
Oh my God. Boo,
why? Like, what is the reason? There's
Shut up.
There's literally no reason other than you're just trying to make this person have a bad time, and you hate creativity.
Boo.
It's like, do you just want to be the most fucking boring, vanilla-ass fucking DM on Earth by just being like, why do you think DMs ask, oh, what does that look like? What does that? Because we want to flavor things how, like Abby, all of her magic, all of the things that she casts like as TRP, she's a cleric, but she's a blood cleric. So everything's got this sort of like vampiric sort of vibe to it. I don't go, oh, well, you actually do damage because you're supposed to, like, no. Like Margaret, everything that she does, it's like, when she fears people, like the moon on her forehead like fills up with blood and overflows, and she like scares people and stuff like that. I don't go, oh well, actually the blood runs down your face and now you're blind. Do you know what I mean? Like that's what this person's doing. Yeah. You're just trying to flavor things so they look cool because like we're playing a game that we need to like it's tiles on a screen or it's a map on the floor. And we just have little miniatures. So we've got to use our imagination, theatre of the mind. Yeah. We've got to like, what's the point in having a description as the DM? Because it's not actually real, but nobody goes, oh, well, where is it then? Go on, show me, take me to the place. Because we have to do these things.
Oh,
you pissed me off. Oh. It's you. You fucking pissed me off.
No, it's not you. It's you behind. It's behind you. It's behind you.
Oh my God, that's so annoying. Oh,
I know. Like, I do not see a world ever in which, outside of the game, it's being explained. There's nothing more to fucking say about this, is there? Just fucking, that's lame as fuck.
There's no reason to do it at all. So you're just doing it to make this player's life hard.
That's fucking so lame.
Like I can just like that imagery of like the questionable liquid in the syringe is so funny.
Being like, trust me.
Like that sort of crazy sort of like sort of Junkrat character. I don't know if I did it before and you don't understand. But like jabbing that in and then like squirting in and being like, please. You know what I mean? That's funny. That's so funny.
Agreed.
That's so funny.
I agree.
And like it's so creative.
I'm so sorry you were punished for your creativity.
You sound like an amazing creative player.
You do.
Who I would love to play with. And this DM sounds like a complete and utter fucking loser, to be honest. So
they don't deserve you.
They don't deserve you.
You've
actually done yourself a favour.
Yeah, you have. I'm so glad you fucking left, Andy.
You've done yourself a massive favour.
Boo. Oh, rancid vibes.
Unrestful. Rancid vibes.
Man, that sucks. Well, we've made it to the end. We're on our last glory story. Yes, we're ending it on a heartwarmer because I would be so devastated if we weren't. I've really, you know what? I have actually really enjoyed.
I've enjoyed this.
I've really enjoyed this. It's been nice.
I've enjoyed doing the heartwarmers.
It's been nice having an emotional roller coaster.
I feel like I could. Now that we're ending it on a happy
one.
I
know.
Happy.
What do you think? What do you think?
I liked it.
Let us know.
You liked it, right?
You've seen what he's capable of. Yeah. Oh my god. Oh my god. He's shadowboxing. So this last Heartwarmer story. This has been submitted by Justin G, and he goes by he, him.
Thank you, Justin G.
He prefaces it with, I swear it's wholesome by the end. You just got to go through a lot dark first.
Oh, no.
So, this is a story about some of the characters from a Curse of Strahd game I ran.
I'll be experiencing that soon, Justin G.
Oh my god. Oh my god. Penelope was a warlock/rogue who was in search of her father, and Penny wanted revenge. Her player wanted to write out her previous character, Genro, Penny's father, but in a way that mattered to her personal story. After years of searching, Penelope made it to Barovia and specifically to Valakai around the same time as the party. The party, seeing what a horrid, oppressive place the Burgomaster was making it, I hope I'm pronouncing these correct, by the way.
Spoilers.
Convinced the people to revolt. Oh, sorry, yes, there is spoilers. There is absolutely spoilers for Curse of Strahd in this. I hope that's okay with you.
That's okay.
Hope that's okay with you. If not...
Spoilers. Curse of Strahd spoilers. You right? You ready?
Curse of Strahd spoilers.
Right.
They convinced the people to revolt. Mm-hmm. Next thing they know, there is no longer a burgomaster, a tiger is loose in the town, and the mob has fled to the church for safety from said tiger. The barbarian/cleric, Freya, had a thought. The mob is prepped to listen to what they say. Let's use them against Strahd. The party heads to the church, Penelope sticking to the shadows, watching her father have a chat. The party enters the church, intent on using this mob to help strike down the devil, Strahd himself. Well, speak of the devil and he shall appear. Who comes walking in but Strahd himself, on supposedly hallowed ground at that, mocking the priest before snapping his neck. Genro, Penny's father, the druid, strikes the Lord of Barovia, only to be launched across the church. Freya, the barbarian cleric, strikes with a thunderous fury and knocks Strahd into the symbol of the Morning Lord, ruining his jacket. Howdry? I'm not sure who Howdry is in the party, but they are an important part.
Okay.
Grabs Genro and evacuates him across the street before returning to the church and launching a flaming orb striking Strahd in the chest. And with a chuckle, Strahd says, "If you're going to play with fire, child, at least bring something with a little more bite." He raises his hand, snaps his fingers, and the entire church erupts into flames as a fireball centered on Strahd himself manifests. Freya,
love that,
the barbarian cleric, is down. 200 citizens are down, and Strahd turns to mist and flees the scene as Howdry desperately tries to save Freya. This is the point where I have to explain about Freya's sickness. She has something called tinder sickness, which manifests as a persistent cough, but if you hit 0 due to fire damage, you explode. Howdry is at the door of the church, Freya in her arms, and a warmth and glow coming from the body, alongside a final cry of "Viva la Revolution," before exploding in Howdry's arms.
That's fucking sad.
Across the street, a masked figure stands over Genro. A wall of force appears just before Howdry makes it to intervene, a conversation just a few moments long. Penny, full of rage. Genro torn, thinking that by leaving, he was saving his family, only to realize that he had made his daughter an orphan. Accepting his fate, Penny's blade drives into his chest while Howdry is pounding on the wall, and it goes unheard. The other half of the party, Shaloni, Honest, Melfomeni, I'm so sorry, and Apollo arrive just in time for the wall to drop. After hearing Penny's story about her father's misdeeds and how she was left orphaned by those hunting him, and keeping Howdry from murdering Penny on sight, Honest, our roguish mother character, embraces Penelope. I'm going to be totally honest with you here. I forgot most of the conversation because everyone was crying like babies at this point.
I'm not surprised.
I am absolutely not surprised. We held a funeral for Genro. Penny learned about how her father redeemed himself in his later years, and that the man she knew was nothing like the man that the suffering knew. She resolved to take up her father's mission to stop the evil plaguing Barovia. Along the way, she found herself married to Strahd's daughter, Jackie, and when the day came to strike down the devil himself, a wish was made. a wish to find the strength to finish it at last. Hey, kiddo, a voice in her ear echoed. Standing next to them was Genro, Freya, and Mel Pop.
Who was it? Tell me! Tell me who it was!
Mel Pony.
Who? Say it!
Mel Pony.
I can't even.
Mel Pony.
What?
Melphamine.
Melphamine?
Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry. All who had been lost on the journey, now back from the grave for one more day to put an end to this menace. After a long and bloody battle, Jackie and Penny took the throne to lead Barovia into the light. Jenna and Howdry go to the Feywild to extend that one day into much longer together. Honest became the first blade of Barovia and Queensguard, and we cut to several years later. Penny and Jackie unchanged, perks of vampirism. Honest older, but just as sharp as ever, towing the twin heirs of Barovia, Genro and Raven behind her, one named after Penny's father and one named after Jackie's. And the sun shining on Barovia, and not a care in the world. Shut up!
Shut up! You're crying!
Justin, shut up!
Shut up, Justin. Oh, that was really nice.
You liked that?
That was awesome.
Man. Viva la revolution.
Viva la revolution.
Man, that got me good. I'm
Yeah.
sorry. I was either going to really cry or really laugh when I said that name wrong.
What?
And I kind of did neither. I just froze. Right, how would you pronounce this?
Go on.
Justin, I'm so sorry. Melpomene.
So M-O what?
M-E-L.
M-E-L.
Melpomene. Melpomene.
Melpomene.
Melpomene. I don't know.
You said panine.
Melpomene.
Melpanini.
I'm so sorry. I'm not trying to sully
That was amazing.
the name of your characters.
That was amazing.
And you know, I just like a wish to find the strength,
Yeah.
and then to see like all your fallen friends. I need a break. I need a break.
That's good. It's good.
I'm fucked up.
Like that just shows how much like people care for the story, for like to get a wish and that wish to be like to find the strength to finish.
Yeah.
It's just that shows like the DM has played out the campaign to the point where you all are committed so much to the campaign that you want the strength to finish it because your characters are tired.
Yeah.
And your characters understand how hard the journey
Yeah,
is.
your characters lost people.
And like to know that like there's such a tough fight ahead.
Yeah.
You need the strength. It's just so good. Like love that. That's the shit I live for.
Same.
That is the moment I live for.
That's D&D to me.
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
D&D is those moments
Yeah, 100%.
where it's like everything is just terrible TM. Everything's awful, and at that moment when you're like, fuck me, how are our characters going to do this? They somehow find the way to do it.
Yeah.
Feels good. And man, I love a callback to all the dead people.
Love it.
love a callback
to the dead people.
Love seeing the dead people.
Yeah. Love seeing the dead
love it.
people.
I love
seeing ghosts.
I love the cut to, you know, several years later
Yeah,
and
love
catching up with the people
yeah, love
alive,
that,
and
love
you know, they had kids, and I just like the
Strahd's one-liner was sick as well.
oh my god, if you're gonna play with fire, child, let it have some bite.
Yeah.
Cast fireball on himself.
Yeah.
To fucking prove
Just
a
the
point.
power move, innit?
Yeah,
the
that is
fucking power move.
And I just like the
Love a
finishing
fucking
sentence.
Big,
just
big bad power move.
sun shining on Barovia, not a care in the world. Fucking shut up,
Justin.
stop.
Get out of here, Justin.
Oh, sorry, that peaked the mic really loud, Jack.
Stop. Stop me.
Oh god. Well,
that was
we have to
intense.
film another one after this, and look at the state of me.
It's a little less sad though, the next one.
Oh Jesus. Well, I hope you enjoyed that.
Yeah, did you?
Yeah, I did. I hope me crying. I cried pretty much that whole episode. I cried more than I
This is the most you've ever cried.
That is definitely the most I've ever cried.
100%. My dog really wants to go outside.
Dog's crying.
So I'm gonna have to walk you out now.
Well, we hope you enjoyed the mixture of the stories.
Yeah, let us know.
Do you prefer them mixed? Do you not like the
Do you
heartwarming
want
stories?
4 at the beginning, 4 at the end, 5 at the beginning, 5 at the end,
Do you want
whatever
them
number? Do you want them split? Do you want them mixed? You
Please,
let me know.
Please submit
Don't
more
shaken,
horror
not
stories.
stirred.
Oh, please submit more horror stories. Please submit more heartwarming stories.
Yeah.
You get more points the more I cry.
There's a challenge.
Yeah.
There's
No,
a
it's
challenge.
not. I could
Yeah, it
cry
is.
right now.
Go on.
I am crying, actually.
All right. So,
Roll them out, Jack.
if you enjoyed the video, don't forget to leave a like. Tell us what your favorite glory story was, or your favorite horror story. Your favorite horror story? Your least favorite horror story. Say you hated it.
Oh!
Hit the bell notification to be notified when we upload a video on a Monday and a Thursday. And, you know, there's a subscribe button down there. And I know most of you are already subscribed. Our analytics show me, so I appreciate it very much.
Are you about to get the dog on the last?
Am I about to get the dog?
Come up. Are you gonna come say hi?
Hello.
No, he's not gonna do it, is he?
Hello.
Oh,
Here he is.
you got the boy. You
Right
got the
at the end.
boy. Oh,
Right
he
at the end.
is
He's-
absolutely wiggling
He's
around.
wiggling away.
Oh, honey.
Hello.
Oh.
Right, we'll let you out. I know you're very upset. I know you're very
Are you gonna
hello.
shout them out? Are you gonna roll them
Say
out,
hello.
Bully? Oh,
Hello.
oh, honey pie.
You say hello.
Oh,
Yeah.
you're so sweet and cute.
You are so handsome, man. You're so handsome.
Oh, well,
Oh, God.
we've been the Eldritch Podblast.
Thank you very much.
We'll see you on
See you
Thursday.
on Thursday. Say bye.
Bye.